Is Sony trying to block games from going to Game Pass? The Sony blocking Game Pass headline got some traction while I was out of town, so obviously we need to talk about this. We've discussed this merger, this acquisition of Microsoft getting Blizzard Activision and what that means for Call of Duty and why Sony is concerned. And now Microsoft's firing back and saying that, hey, you've even tried to block things from getting on Game Pass and hampered our growth. We're going to be breaking it down. I'll give you all the info right here at the beginning. The video is a little bit long because I'm a live streamer, but I put everything at the beginning of the video so you don't have to go hunting for it. And then if you want to be here for those live discussions, make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss these streams that we do. This is a Reforge update. Microsoft is claiming that Sony is paying for blocking rights to keep games off of Game Pass, and what does this all mean? And is both sides of the aisle right now sort of being hypocritical in the debate about the Microsoft Blizzard Activision deal? If you like these quick updates, hit subscribe and the bell button, or check out Reforge Gaming where I stream live. So according to TheVerge.com, Microsoft's ability to continue expanding Game Pass has been hampered by Sony's desire to inhibit such growth. This was a claim that Microsoft made in a filing on August 9th with the Administrative Council for Economic Defense, and this has been translated from Portuguese, so we might, maybe getting lost in translation here. We might not have the full scope of the details. This is what they claim. Sony pays for, quote, blocking rights to prevent developers from adding content to Game Pass and other competing subscription services, and that's the claim that they're making. They don't cite any examples of games that have been paid for or games that have been blocked from coming to Game Pass. They simply claim that blocking rights is something that Sony has paid for. Now, according to TheVerge.com, the reality is likely a little bit more complicated on both sides. Sony could simply be paying for exclusivity rights for its own streaming services, or it may be, putting clauses into contracts preventing games from being published or put other places because they're the one backing it. Now, there were no examples given, and you have to consider what Microsoft has done in the past. It's not clear exactly what Microsoft is referring to, but contracts for publishing games can be complex. Documents filed in the Epic Games versus Apple trial revealed that Microsoft had been considering lowering the revenue split for PC games in exchange for the grant of streaming rights to Microsoft. So Microsoft's playing the same game, okay? If Microsoft had proceeded with its plans, that could have led to the company securing exclusive streaming rights on some games, preventing them from being available on rival streaming services. This is something that both sides are doing. They're trying to bolster their platform. They're trying to bolster their offering. Microsoft is attempting to convince Brazil's CADE regulator that it should waive the company's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion. Now, the Federal Trade Commission is analyzing documents from the Microsoft acquisition in correspondence, but that is private. They don't let us see that. So the reason that we're seeing these documents is Brazil does this in a public way. The documents are considered public, so we can see what's going on. Call of Duty is really what started this. Documents from the Brazil's CADE have been analyzed by Xbox and PlayStation fans over the last week, with posters from Reset Era highlighting the juicy parts. The regulator has been asking Sony and other Microsoft rivals about the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Sony previously responded to Brazil's regulator, claiming that it would be difficult for other developers to create a franchise that rivals Activision's Call of Duty. But Call of Duty is not going anywhere, according to Microsoft. I said this in my own streams, and Microsoft seems to agree. They argued that not distributing games like Call of Duty on rival consoles would simply not be profitable. I even said shareholders would get involved because they would say, you're absolutely hurting margins and losing profit if you rip Call of Duty off of the PlayStation. My thoughts on this is, first and foremost, we don't have any specific examples. Even if we did have specific examples, both companies are playing this game, buying up companies, buying up titles, and making them exclusive to their platform. Now, if you're going to secure a game that you want on your subscription service, it stands to reason that you would try to keep it off of other competing subscription services. Microsoft was considering doing just that, as we saw in the filing with the Apple versus Epic lawsuit. Both companies are doing the exact same thing, which is competition. That's good for the end user. I don't think this is the same as yanking Call of Duty off of Sony, which is what primarily was concerning to Sony. People claiming hypocrisy on both sides. I don't think that's the case here. Sony was concerned about a Leviathan game suddenly being only on one platform, a game that simply cannot be rivaled in size of developers, bandwidth, and community size as far as revenue support, but they weren't talking about exclusive deals. There's plenty of exclusive deals out there. Microsoft and Sony are both playing the same game. Right now, it remains to be seen if the deal will go through, whether or not the FTC will greenlight it. As always, if you like these short videos, check out Reforge Gaming where I stream live. Hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'll see all of you this morning. I know this one's going to get juicy. As far as companies deciding to pay for exclusivity rights or wanting things to only be on their platform, this isn't a headline, okay? This is just not a headline. This is normal. Both companies do it. Thank you so much for the re-upped memberships. I see you in the chat feed. If you guys are watching this as a VOD, do me a favor, smash like and hit subscribe so you don't miss the content. If you're in the chat right now, make sure you are on live chat and make sure you're smashing that like button. Let's set our sights on 200 likes. Here come all of the membership removals. CB4 Omega renewing theirs, Reaper renewing theirs, Barrier hitting an entire year, 1UP Ninja getting a new badge. Thank you guys so much. Feed, I see you in the chat. Guys, thank you. I am rested. I feel good. I am glad to be back. Let's get those memberships rolling because we did dip quite a bit. Here they come. Mike Crow, Garrett Green, Dylan, and Quiet Shy all re-upping their memberships. Welcome back in. If you got a membership gifted to you last month, please consider jumping back in on your own. We were near 1,600 members. We've now dipped down to about 1,200 something. So we need to get those membership numbers back up and set our sights on those stretch goals and those big goals. Jay White renewing their membership. Thank you so much, Jay, for jumping back in and keeping your membership here on Reforge Gaming. As a reminder, we do members content every single day, as well as the Friday night streams and the increased access in the Discord. So don't forget to keep those memberships up and running and be in the Discord. Striker 1 hitting 9 months, and they're at a Tier 2. We need about 30 more people to upgrade to Tier 2, and we'll launch a whole new segment just for Tier 2 members and above, me playing tough games and uploading those on the weekend. Check your Discord, Mike. Something is wrong. Something's wrong with the Discord audio. All right, hang on one second here. Let me go into voice and video, and I'll make sure my input device is the Scarlett. Mic check. Miggity mic check. I don't know if that fixed it or not. I'm going to have to reboot Discord. It said that I had the wrong device. Didn't hear him say it was about Microsoft's side, but he was going deep into the minutia, so I was zoning out after a while. But he was saying and paying more attention to chat and typing. Let's see here. Table JFK, Bower Socks, John, Jitty Kitty, D-Tom, and Bro Sexy. Welcome back. This one should get juicy. Guys, thanks for those renewals. What's good, Baker? Thank you so much, Baker, for renewing as well. 16 months. You guys hitting some big month milestones, man, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, how do we sound now in Discord? Is that better? I reset Discord, and it should be pulling off of the proper mic now. It was probably pulling off my cam or something dumb. I don't know. Yo, Famous Frosty with 8 months. Good to see you back, mate. Hope the fam as well. Thank you. Kerr says, Sony doing this is not okay at all, but I do want to say one thing to someone who said that Lono is a Sony fanboy because he talks about Xbox more doesn't mean he hates it. I am not, like, I ripped Sony up for when they were not going to give people the free upgrade on Horizon. Like, I don't care what the logo is on the box. If I feel a company's doing something stupid, I get out the bat. Like, I don't care about that. Chris renewing for an entire year, and you're a Tier 2. Sorcerer hitting 15 months, and they're a Tier 2. Evan Frawley renewing as well. Thank you so much, as well as Famous Frosty. Thank you guys so much. I missed you, Dad. Welcome back. Thank you guys for the strong welcome back. I appreciate the strong support for the streams here. We got a spicy day for you. There's more to come. We got a whole week. What's going on with Forspoken's trailer? Why is everybody scared of God of War Ragnarok? We're going to be checking out Spider-Man today as well on PC, and I know this one's going to get hot. This one's going to get hot. Not quite as hot as Reforge Roast. Get your coffee orders in. We'll be starting shipping again today. Make sure you get those coffee orders in and merch orders in. I just think it was very telling that Sony was the only publisher who was against the whole deal. Everyone else is good with it. Sony running scared. I think that's an interesting interpretation of them pinpointing one game that they're concerned about. I don't think they're running scared. I think they're saying, hey, this is a problem if you let them do this. They pinpointed one particular game, right? The acidity is truly balanced. It's delicious. What's good, Derek? Derek watching. He's still stateside, but he's not in Louisville anymore. So no more Brono. No more Brono for the foreseeable future. We're all kind of trying to get him to come back over here stateside. But he'll be here for another week, but he is not in Louisville anymore. Yo, my man MJ hitting a whole year. Welcome back, you Sony. Chill. Thank you, MJ. We're talking about what Sony said. Plenty of others had input. Everything I read, all the other publishers weren't against the deal. But Sony didn't say they were against the deal. Sony said that if Call of Duty goes exclusive, they can't, that's not a replaceable thing in the market. That's what they said. They were not saying, oh, hey, this deal shouldn't go through. Do you think, what'd you think of THQ Nordic? I thought it was fine. I mean, I nothing huge there. Yo, my man, Mr. Glum. I'm back, friendos. Hope you're doing well, Mr. Glum. A tier 3 and hitting 5 months, almost half a year doing that tier 3. We're trying to get those people to convert to tier 2. Mr. Glum has to upgrade if we do, and we're launching a whole new segment. The Microsoft smartly came out and said it won't be exclusive. Right, and then that's the end of the discussion in my book, right? Sony is definitely scared because they're getting their teeth kicked in right now, and I love every minute of it. And what are they getting kicked in on? How is Sony getting their teeth kicked in right now? Where and how? In what universe are they getting their teeth kicked in? There's literally industry insiders that are like, yeah, games are literally delaying out of fourth quarter because of God of War Ragnarok. How are they getting their teeth kicked in? They're primed to have another great launch this year. They just pushed a title to PC, and it was their second largest launch on PC. Like, Spider-Man just crushed it on PC. Like, how are they getting their teeth kicked in? They're doing fine. Glad you're back, friend. Thank you, Feed. There's nothing Sony can do to stop this deal from going through. It'll be done by the end of the year. Right, okay. And that's going to be good for Microsoft. I think Microsoft getting this deal is actually going to be really good for them. But that doesn't mean that Sony is getting their teeth kicked in. What games are being delayed because of God of War? Well, Forspoken all but said that they were doing it. Hogwarts delayed, which I kept telling you guys that game was going to get delayed. And then there was an industry insider that said a bunch of games left that part of the year because of Ragnarok. They just don't want to deal with it. And I've always said companies don't do that. Apparently I'm wrong. I've always said, dude, companies don't do that. They don't shift release dates around because of one game. Apparently they do. They are. This guy said he spoke to like maybe not four, a handful of developers, and they're like, "Yeah, bro, no, we're out of here. We don't want to deal with that." Yo, my man P Dudley jumping back in as a member, getting that blue badge. Thank you so much. Yeah, February's going to be another gigantic. Are you guys looking at February? What's good, Kareem? Google Beats hitting a whole year of membership. Here's to another month of content. And Roger jumping back in as a member. Thank you so much. Yeah, Forspoken literally said, our game is ready. We're doing this we spoke to our strategic partners. That's my point, though, in this debate, okay? Sony blocking Game Pass. Number one, do we have any examples? Number two, how is that any different than every other exclusivity deal in existence? Like, hey, we don't want you to be on a competing subscription service and we'll pay you money to do it. They 100% do When people don't release around Star Wars movies, nah, such anymore. But now it's just for movies. Do you think the games wouldn't? Yeah, I just didn't think it was as big of a situation. I thought sometimes it played a part, Birdface, but not to this degree. Example: Sony blocked Resident Evil Village from going on Game Pass. Where do we have proof of that? Yo, Mr. Glum says, let's start Monday morning right. 20 gifted members. My man Feed is the first one on the list, and I love seeing that. Cujo, Justin Kidder, Tony C, Squirtle Squad, my brother Derek, yes, love seeing that. MRI Guy, Jastification, Morgan Renfield, Chris Lowe, Devin, Seneca, Roick, Cage, Dite, and then the last 5 here, Frostpunk, Kevin, Cujo, Chapel, and Reg. If I just called your name, if you see your name in chat, make sure and say thank you to Mr. Glum. That's super generous, getting us back up on an upward trajectory for membership. Appreciate that so much, taking care of this community here. We have so many generous folks making sure so many of you get to keep those memberships. Every day we're doing members content, so make sure you're in the Discord. YouTube's not the greatest at being like, hey, here's a members only video that's live right now. Resident Evil Village was shown in a document. I just read the Verge report on it, and I've read multiple other reports. I didn't see any indication that Sony specifically paid money for Resident Evil Village to not be on Game Pass. But let's just say that they did. I don't feel like going and finding some article to prove that they did that. I'll just say that they did. I'll concede it and be like, let's just say for the sake of argument that they did that, okay? What's wrong with that? I need you to argue why that's wrong. Microsoft does the same thing. Microsoft pays companies to go on to Game Pass. And according to the Apple Epic lawsuit, they were considering and negotiating with companies about being like, we only want you on our subscription service. That makes perfectly good sense. So do you think when Microsoft enters into a Game Pass subscription deal that they're like, yeah, that's fine if you're on other subscription services? That's completely sensible. I have nothing against Microsoft doing that, by the way. If Microsoft wants to pay for a game to be on Game Pass and they want to limit that game being on other platforms, or other subscription services, I have no problem with that. That makes sense. It's hypocritical and it shows Sony's double standard in all of us. Pop Meat Kettle. How is Sony being hypocritical by bringing up Call of Duty, which has nothing to do with subscription service blocking, MRI Guy? Talk about a red herring. That's not even a good argument. That's not even a good argument. So let's just track the argument to show the silliness of all of this. Okay, 8-month milestone for Reckless Gambit. Console Wars starting this week with fire. Welcome back, sir. Thank you. My man Rissick with a $20 tip through Super Chat. Jolly good show. Thank you, Lufi. Maybe some of the companies are learning from when Outriders was on Game Pass in the beginning and it's not a way to make money. I mean, that could be a part of this. Okay. So let's track the argument because this entire thing is just absolutely ludicrous. Okay. So Sony comes out and says, hey, if Call of Duty goes to one platform, that's a problem for the gaming market because nobody can rival the size of that game. No one can rival how many developers work on that game. Nobody can rival Call of Duty, okay? And Microsoft's like, yeah, but you paid money to keep stuff off Game Pass. What? How are those things related? They're not. They're not related. It's a red herring. Sony's arguing exclusivity and then turning around and doing it as well. How are you not seeing that? Oh my golly, how are you not seeing this, MRI Guy? Every company pays for exclusivity. Sony did not walk out into this discussion and just forget that they pay for exclusivity. That's not what they were arguing. Sony was not arguing that exclusivity is bad for the industry. If they did that, then you'd have an argument that they're being hypocritical. They took issue with one title. One. That's it. They took issue with Call of Duty. Sony didn't come out and say, hey, exclusivity is bad for the market. I'm just calling Sony on their BS, not saying Microsoft doesn't do it either. No. I'm poking holes in you saying that you're calling them on their BS because they didn't come out and say, hey, exclusivity is bad. They came out and said, if this game in particular goes exclusive, it will be bad. So this game can't be exclusive. It would hurt us, but also we pay to keep other exclusives, and that's great. No, that's not argued in good faith. That's so not charitable. Oh, we got to get rid of that timer. Timer. Let's do. I'm gonna make it the coffee timer. Like they didn't say, hey, you shouldn't do exclusivity. They said, if you make Call of Duty exclusive, that's a serious frickin' problem for us. Yes, they argued for their own interest. They're a frickin' business. That's what they should do. Everybody pays for exclusivity. Sony wasn't saying you can't do that. They were saying this one title represents way too much market share to be suddenly exclusive. And Microsoft agrees with them. That's the hilarity of you being like, I'm calling Sony on their BS. Really? Because Microsoft isn't. Microsoft agrees with them. Microsoft says, yeah, you're right. It's too big. It wouldn't be profitable for us to do that. It wouldn't. That's what's so funny here is you're going to sit here and claim that, I'm calling Sony on their BS and you're standing up for Microsoft. Microsoft agrees with them. They did. They do. They're like, yeah, we can't do that. That'd be bad. Yo, thank you for the $2 tip, Anodyne Star, and thank you for the $5 tip, Mad Mardigan. Yo, Lono, can you name one Microsoft paid for exclusivity to keep off the PS4, PS5, not just subscription service exclusivity, but excluded altogether? They've done timed exclusivity, yeah. Yeah, they've done timed exclusivity. They did exclusivity with Call of Duty in the past. Yes. Exclusivity of like getting early access and stuff. Microsoft did the exclusive stuff with Call of Duty, and then Sony got the deal, and it was all timed. Shadow, like the Tomb Raider game was like a year, and it couldn't be on any other platform. There is absolutely nothing in this situation. If you showed me right now a document that proved, well, Microsoft pays for games to be on Game Pass, and then they restrict them being on another subscription service, I'd be like, that makes perfectly good frickin' sense. What do you think Netflix does when they pay for something to come to their subscription service? Like, this isn't a headline. This isn't a story. Companies do this. Sony walked out and said, hey, if Call of Duty goes exclusive, that's super bad for us and bad for the market. And Microsoft agrees and says, yeah, we're not going to do that. If we did that, it wouldn't be profitable. As I said for weeks when I had people disagreeing with me, being like, no, Microsoft is definitely going to make Call of Duty exclusive. It's going to make them sell more consoles. I said, their shareholders will get involved and be like, you're freaking stupid. You can't do that. You will lose money. Okay? So, Microsoft agrees with the crux of what Sony's issue was. But then they want to throw this rock through their own glass house, mind you. And they're like, hey, you paid for blocking rights and it hindered our ability to grow Game Pass. What are you talking about? Oh, Resident Evil? So that we paid money to keep Resident Evil off your subscription service, and that hurts your ability to grow Game Pass? You're throwing money at like 25% of the dadgum gaming market. You're buying Activision Blizzard. Nobody's hindering you. Like, imagine dropping a $70 billion acquisition and then being like, oh, they're hurting our ability to grow Game Pass. Shut up. No, they're not. What? Even if they block a handful of games, you can act like those games being on Game Pass would have 100% increased Game Pass subscription funnel. I'm not poo-pooing Resident Evil. I'm saying that one game, come on. It wouldn't have been like, oh yeah, here goes our Game Pass subscriptions. Yo, what's good, Hex? Microsoft do have a right to make anything they own exclusive, including IPs being bought. Agree for some of the titles, including Call of Duty, would be a bad idea. Sony were silly to point out Call of Duty. Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Everybody's forgetting how this happened. So this acquisition goes out, okay? And Sony responds to a questionnaire that every company gets. And they're like, hey, Call of Duty is too big to replace. There's no market replacement for Call of Duty. That was their issue. So this idea like, oh, Sony is scared or Sony's trying to stop the deal, they did what everybody else did. They took the questionnaire, they analyzed the potential impact on their business, and they replied. Now, do you think Sony shareholders would have been okay with them being like, no, that's fine, go ahead. There's no potential threat in this deal at all to us. You're literally the only person I've seen defending Sony this hard since the news drop. I feel like that's kind of telling what's the angle here. I'm not defending Sony. I'm saying both companies do it. There's no headline here. And listen, I'll be honest with you. I don't give a rat's tiny anus if other people aren't covering this the way I do, because most of them are liars and frauds who are a part of Microsoft like deals, and that's why all their content's pro Microsoft. So go frickin' watch people who are paid to be like sucking on their Microsoft console. I ain't doing that. I'm not. I'm looking at the story as it played out. They're like, hey, they just bought 25% of the gaming market. Are you guys okay with this? And Sony's like, well, this one title, it can't be replaced in the market. Oh, but you paid money to keep stuff off of Game Pass. And that makes you a hypocrite. What the frick are you even talking about? Both companies do it. And they should. They literally should. If you're going to come up with a subscription service. Like, listen, I said this moments ago. If we find out that Microsoft pays for people to be on Game Pass and then also says, we don't want you on other subscription services. Keep in mind, don't spin this. Sony merely paid and said, part of our deal with you is we don't want you on that subscription service over there. They didn't keep it from being on the platform. Why is Sony complaining? Oh my gosh. I just walked through it. Oh, this is so not what everyone's making it. When an acquisition of this size goes out, a questionnaire gets sent to competing companies to see what they think of the deal, because they might have an issue with the deal. And Sony says, hey, that one title is a problem if it goes exclusive. And Microsoft agrees with Sony. Stop everything. Stop typing. Stop thinking I'm a Sony shill. Microsoft agrees with that. They're like, yes, you are correct. It's too big of a title. If we make that exclusive, it wouldn't be profitable. And then they want to take this shot across the bow and be like, but you hampered our ability to grow Game Pass. What the frick? Both companies are doing that. That has nothing to do with Call of Duty. I had a feeling we'd be Sony shilling today. Peace out, Lono and chat. I'll check in tomorrow. Let me do you a favor, Willie. Just don't come back. You want to question my integrity and accuse me of shilling? Find another stream to hang out in. You're just no longer welcome here. I have no patience for folks like you. None. Find a new chat. I wish you still had a badge so I could say take your badge with you, because I don't frickin' care anymore. I don't. You want to come in and debate me? Debate me. You want to say I'm shilling? I'm not even defending Sony. I'm saying this is not a story. Both companies do this. Like, It's such a red herring. Yo, what's good? Train hitting 18 months, a year and a half of membership. Thank you, sir. I'm going to show you how long I've wanted to do that, says Creature. That's Microsoft's point. What's Microsoft's point? What's their point? Hey, you paid to keep things off our subscription service. Did you hear this? Listen to this. Listen to this. Official documentation from the Apple Epic lawsuit. Microsoft was considering lowering the revenue split for PC games in exchange for the grant of streaming rights to Microsoft. If they would have proceeded with this plan, they would have secured exclusive streaming rights of some games, preventing them from being on other streaming services. It's literally a part of business strategy to say, we are building a thing. And if we put games in this thing, we don't want it to be out there in the other things that are out there. Netflix does it. Amazon does it. They all do it. Yo, Johnny Dingo, I like that name. Makes me think of Johnny Ringo, if that's what you're intending. Brand new membership. Thank you so much for the brand new membership. Enjoy the dope badge and emotes. Be sure to get in the Discord. Yo, and Creature wants to gift 5. Johnny Keller got one. Doomslayer got one. Viceroy got one. Cajun Warcry got one. And Evidence got one. Thank you, Creature. Creature's so happy about that. Buying rights is different than cockblocking. But that's literally what buying rights is, Hilly. Listen, Microsoft has a subscription funnel, okay? It's part of their business strategy. And Sony now has a subscription funnel, okay? Both companies, are likely sitting down with game devs and publishers and saying, we want your game on our subscription funnel. And if we enter into this contract, you will be compensated, and we don't want your game on another subscription funnel. Very scummy behavior from Sony. What do you mean? That Microsoft was doing the same thing or considering doing the same thing? Was it scummy for them to do that? It's not. Microsoft can buy the streaming rights and still choose to allow others of their choice to use it. So, I love this. I love the fandom. So you think that Microsoft would pay for exclusive streaming rights and be like, but we're just going to be nice to the other platforms and we're going to let them do it too. What the frick? So do you think the shareholders would be okay with that? You think they'd be okay with that? Let me get this straight, Microsoft. You just paid a couple million to enter into an exclusivity contract with this company, and you're letting it also go on other streaming services and all the other subscription services? Why would you do that? That's basic business sense to be like, hey, we're paying you to be on our thing. That means you can't be on another thing. There's no story here. There's no hypocrisy. There's nothing scummy about this. This is what it's called, protecting your business interest. You're protecting your investments. Sony will die on the exclusivity hill. Look at Fortnite and how mad everyone was at Sony for being so petty. Was Sony... Yeah, Sony was being petty. They ran the numbers and they said, we make up a stupid percentage of your in-game purchases. If you're going to do cross-play with us, you're going to compensate us. And you know what? Epic did. Epic literally did. Epic was like, yeah, you know what? We do make a ton of money on your platform. So yeah, that's fine. Epic agreed. They were like, yeah, it's fine. Sure. Here you go. We'll sign the deal. 18 months from Gritter. What's the spice for today with my company Sony? What have they done now? Good morning. What's good, Gritter? I just think Sony is in a position this gen where they're not 100% what to do. Oh, they don't know what to do because Microsoft is actually putting up a fight this gen, unlike last gen where Microsoft was just laid down and took it. Okay, like I don't think I disagree with that MRI guy. I think Sony is saying we got to go pound for pound here. They come up with their own subscription service. I actually think their subscription service is incredibly competitive, if not slightly better than Game Pass currently. Now, Game Pass is about to be amazing in about 20 months. It's about to be way better, right? Yo, my man Dan hitting 14 months, and it's a tier 2. I appreciate that. I hope these people don't find out that soda companies do exclusivity deals with chain stores and restaurants. Yeah, you want to know why you can only get Coke or only get Pepsi at a given restaurant? This is totally normal. Strider with a renewal on their membership. Thank you, Strider, getting that updated badge. Ferk Malurf jumping in for their second month. Thank you for renewing. Section 7 of the Clayton Act. Sony's doing what they have to. I enjoy your content. Lono, you the man. Thank you. Look how Sony blocks Final Fantasy from Xbox. Turns out they once bought an 18% stake in Square, considered themselves a Square boss, and wanted every single Final Fantasy hit as an exclusive. Okay, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Why is that a problem? Like, what's the issue here? Yo, Ryan coming in with a whole year. Thanks for renewing your membership, Ryan, and hitting that milestone, and for doing a tier 2. There's nothing new here, says Suede. But in the grand scheme, I feel this makes Microsoft look desperate. I want to see them succeed, but there's too much noise about issues. It makes me worry for Bethesda. Yeah, I was hanging out with Suede over the weekend, and we were talking about that. Like, what's going to happen to Bethesda? What's going on with Starfield? Like, there's concerns. Astro with a whole year, another whole year. A lot of people hitting a whole year of membership. Distorted says, you got to take the bait a little bit more. Of course, it's not a real story, and of course, it's not normal. That's normal business procedure, but it doesn't make for good content. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Distorted. I'm like, everybody shut the frick up. There's nothing here. Welcome back. Hope the weekend didn't get too swifty. Yo, what's good, Parasito? No, I didn't. I was dry as a desert all week, man. Yo, 5 gifted members from Cardoc. Man, you guys are getting us back in the saddle. I'm back. Let's go. Let's see where that puts us. Sky, The Boy, Hemi G, Megadeth Mayhem, and Shane Molitor. Look at that. Already all grabbed. Guys, if you just got a membership, be sure to get into our Discord. Appreciate those gifted members so much. We're back at 1,300. We dipped below 1,300 members, and we're back above 1,300 members. Thank you so much for doing that. Console wars is ludicrous. This is pathetic. Both companies don't do well with decision making. Let's agree on that. I think most games are cross-play. Oh, but the cross-play thing, you got to understand. I just there's an undercurrent here. Okay? There's an undercurrent. And you think, right? Hey, Weed Man, thanks for hitting 4 months. You the best. You think that, like, what Microsoft is doing is fine, because you like Microsoft. And then there's guys that think, like, what Sony is doing is fine. I think what both companies are doing is fine. They're both fine. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're protecting their interests. They're trying to generate profit. They want your dollars. That's what they're supposed to do. Sony bought an 18% stake in Square because Square was going bankrupt. They sold the share back to them in 2010 when Square got back right. Japanese companies don't let Japanese companies fail. Well, there's some more context to that 18% stake buy. Most people seem to agree that first-party exclusives are fine. Activision Blizzard games will be first-party now, regardless of what happened. Fair is fair, right? That's what I'm saying. I don't care about... MRI guy, I have been all about this deal. I'm like, could be very good for Microsoft. It could be. We need Microsoft. This could be great for them. They both do it, and I'm okay with both sides doing it. Yo, Freddie Jackson was 17 months, and it's a tier 3. That's a big one. I love seeing people debating a game is better than another in the console war, and I'm just out here like, I like games. That's my point, MRI guy. Like, I'm okay with Microsoft scooping up companies and paying for exclusivity deals. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with Sony doing it. But this is what happens. Sony walks out and says, hey, Call of Duty's just too big. Microsoft agrees with them and says, yeah, we're not going to make it exclusive. It wouldn't be profitable. So they agree on that line. That's the end of the discussion. But then Microsoft wants to get a little jab in. And they're like, hey, you blocked games from coming on Game Pass. Oh, really? So? What the frick are you talking about? Yo, James Wolfgang with 4 months. I don't know, Lono, blue background, pretty Sony of you, but it's okay. I got a green chat bubble. It equals out. Console wars hurt my mentality. Thank you. What's good, Christina? Creature says, exactly. I hope they all succeed. I hope they have exclusive maps, timed access, skins, weapons. I hope they make a killing. Yeah, what does this all mean relative to gaming as a service becoming the norm with Sony and Microsoft seemingly moving away from hardware sales? If I recall, Sony's business is still behind the hardware. Yeah, I don't think Sony's going to move away from hardware as fast as Microsoft. I think Microsoft's going to move away from hardware faster. I think they're kind of already doing it. We need both companies to want to make as much as possible while top shelf gaming experience. That's what I'm saying. Like, in this debate, it doesn't make any sense for Microsoft to take an issue with Sony buying blocking rights for Game Pass. Yo, Eknor decided to upgrade to a tier 3. Thank you so much for doing that, man. I appreciate that. If we get like 20 to 30 something people to do that to tier 2, we're launching a whole new feature. Yo, DP Sage, what's up, Lono? Super worker lurker back from the purple days, but we'll get more involved with the community interaction soon. Keep up the good work. Yo, my man, get in the Discord if you want to get involved. Sony blocking games without putting it on their own service or just paying to block games? That would be really weird. It was Resident Evil was the given example. Apparently, they paid for Resident Evil 7 to not go on Game Pass. Mad Mardigan with a $10 tip through Super Chat. Sony said COD on Game Pass would create a tipping point and it would take years to replicate a service to compete with Game Pass. Microsoft are just defending themselves. They have to build a case. Thank you for the $10 tip. I mean, okay, fair point. Microsoft is being like, listen, we're allowed. Well, hang on. That's actually not a fair point. That's not accurate. Nope. Sony never said anything about Call of Duty going on Game Pass. They didn't say that. No, the issue was if you make that game exclusive and we no longer can put it on our platform, there's no market replacement for Call of Duty. There's not. What do you know? That they weren't taking issue with it being on Game Pass. Appreciate the channel. You're the perfect gaming judge. Love your opinions. Microsoft just needs to focus on the games and the people. Thank you, Saint Uran. I appreciate that. Siege Master with a 9-month resub, and it's a tier 2. Welcome back, Lono. How spicy did we get so far today? Jalapeno, Carolina Reaper, may close to a jalapeno. They didn't have an issue with it being on Game Pass. That's not what they said. No, listen to the response, Mad Mardigan. You've got your facts wrong, my friend. Microsoft argues that not distributing games like Call of Duty on a rival console would simply not be profitable. They're responding to what Sony said. Yeah, and here's a bunch of things that were timed exclusivities, like Quiet Shy's Finding, Mass Effect, hit Xbox 2007, came to PlayStation in 2012. Tales of Vesperia 2008, it launched and then it came later. The Last Remnant hit Xbox first. Cuphead hit Xbox and PC first. Dead Rising hit on Xbox first. Plenty of these companies are doing this. This isn't abnormal. And that's console exclusivity. Sony asserts that content is the main driver for subscription services and that Microsoft adding Activision franchises and IPs to Game Pass would be a tipping point in favor of the Redmond-based... Okay, but that's not what I read. So that might be one perspective on it, Mad Mardigan, but that's not all they said. Sony can't make up their minds. They said Game Pass isn't a sustainable business model, and then they turn around and do everything they can to try to sink it. So it's a threat then? Well, no. Like, those two things are not mutually exclusive, and they never pinpointed and said No, yeah. See, again, just egregious misrepresentation. Sony never came out and said, Game Pass is not a sustainable business model. They came out and said, putting first-party titles on a subscription service isn't sustainable. That's what they said. They didn't say that Game Pass wasn't a sustainable business model. They said, we don't think it makes sense to put first-party titles on our subscription service. It would break the virtuous cycle. So they didn't come out and say, Game Pass isn't even a sustainable business model. They didn't say that. They came out in a presser and said, basically they were saying, we're not going to put our first-party titles on our subscription service. Why? Because we don't think it would make any sense. I think you should read everything on stream. I covered the thing 2 weeks ago, sorry. I covered the thing 2 weeks ago. If they don't want it to be on Game Pass, then, like, Sony can't affect that. If, like, the original documentation that I read, Sony was scared of suddenly not having Call of Duty. And I was like, Microsoft's not going to do that. Right? And Microsoft agrees. Microsoft has literally said, we're not going to do that. It would not be profitable. Mr. Glum with a $10 tip. Lost Frames renewing their membership. Thank you, Lost Frames, for doing that. And a $10 tip through Super Chat. Listen, Lono, I hold resentment for PlayStation only because for exclusives in VR, my account got banned. No chance of getting it back. I lost about $600 worth of games. I respect your point, but screw Sony. Yeah, I mean, but that's a personal thing. That's not like a business structure thing. Sony's whole argument is exclusivity. That's their whole MO. Yeah, like, if they also are concerned about Call of Duty going on Game Pass, listen, I hate to break it to you, Sony, but you can't stand in the way of that. I don't think they can stand in the way of that. If that's their if that's like part of their argumentation, but the crux of their argumentation was, if we no longer have this title, there is no market replacement for it. Everything I read, I literally had a whole Word document. They talked about the number of people it takes to make Call of Duty. They talked about how profitable the game was. They talked about how Call of Duty Vanguard, even it being one of the lower years for Call of Duty, still was one of the highest grossing games for that year, right? They were taking issue with, you can't replace Call of Duty in the market. I think you should reread it. I literally copied and pasted the argumentation from an article. If they also are taking issue with Game Pass, I disagree with them. I'm like, listen, if Microsoft wants to buy Blizzard Activision and they want to put Blizzard Activision property, which is now their property, on Game Pass, suck it up, Cupcake. Suck it up. That's the way that it goes. There's nothing you can do about that. I sided with them on exclusivity. I was like, that wouldn't make any sense. I don't even think Microsoft's going to do it. Microsoft basically came out and said, we're not going to do that. That's kind of the end of the discussion. A $10 tip from DP Sage. You deserve every penny from my wallet right now. Thank you for the 10 spot, my man. I think you should read it. I don't need to go and read it. I covered this. I researched it. If more has come out, I am saying right now, if more documentation came out and Sony's taking issue with Call of Duty going on Game Pass, sorry. They don't have a say in that. They don't have a say in that. That's Sony has no say in what Microsoft does with their property once they own it. Like, and to be quite honest, I feel like Microsoft's going to lose in that deal. What, Call of Duty on Game Pass? Are you stupid? What the frick? Yo, Robert S. with a brand new membership, jumping in the member pool. We're back in the 1300s. We're setting our sights on 1500 members. Listen, get in the Discord if you're a member. You got to get in there. You won't miss out on members-only content. I think the precedent was already set with Minecraft. Sorry, I wasn't saying you should read it. I was just questioning the person telling you to read it. Oh. Mr. Pineapple Gaming with a $10 tip through Super Chat. I agree. They've done this since the companies were created. I would like the companies to say, hey, We know games are coming out unfinished, so we're going to help companies release fully complete games, right? Is Xbox still bleeding as much money as it was during the Xbox One days? Apparently, they're in the black. The gaming division is still not profitable. They're in the black. Yo, Dan Zatasik hitting a whole year of membership. Welcome back. Missed you last week. You not streaming messed with my whole rhythm for the week. I know somebody posted that their phone told them they used their phone 22 less hours last week because I wasn't streaming. 22 less hours. That's freaking insane. Over 500 viewers are in here. Guys, do me a favor. Smash that like button. Let's go for 400 likes. I guarantee you there's about 100 people right now that haven't smashed the like button yet. Smash the subscribe button as well. People are telling me I'm a Sony shill. Listen, I'm saying both companies have every right to this. We've not gotten a single new subscriber yet today. How is that even freaking possible? How are there no new people here? Hit subscribe so you can talk in my chat. I want to meet you. I want to hear from you. The issue is not Call of Duty going into Game Pass. The issue is that Microsoft could essentially withhold Call of Duty as a leverage chip to control the game market. That's what I read. If more documentation is coming out since my coverage a week and a half ago, well then what the frick? I'm not talking about that. I'm surprised you haven't read the latest documents. You're usually on top of that. I did! I read The Verge's report. Mad Mardigan, who has the latest documents? Who has them? Who reported on it? What outlet did you use? Christina gifting 5 memberships. Corey, Prosy, John, Kid Rhino, and R7. And got me some slack. I was out of town for a week. I just got back in town. What do you mean? Apparently I missed one article on the Reset Era. Frick you. Reset Era forums. Frick you. I ain't going to no forums, bro. Give me an article. Give me a dadgum article flyover. I'm not going to the Reset Era forums and combing through lines of text where Sony doesn't want Call of Duty on Game Pass. I don't freaking care about that. If you read an article covering the documents, you're simply reading someone's bias on it. Oh my freaking gosh. Oh my gosh. Chat. Jiminy freaking Christmas. Ric Flair, woo! Almost hitting a whole year. Thanks for renewing your membership, my man. Killshot jumping back in, getting a blue badge. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a joke, right? Xbox Gaming's never been profitable? It's not been profitable for a long time. They almost shut the dadgum thing down. What do you mean? They were going to shutter the Xbox Gaming division. What are you talking about? Or are you saying... Are you agreeing that they've never been profitable? They've not been profitable for a super long time. It's a known thing. None of this is news. Look at the earnings reports. Oh, you were talking to somebody else. Okay, you were agreeing with me. Hey, our first order of coffee coming back from the vacay. My man Ani grabbing a Reforge light roast. That's my man. Thank you, thank you. You literally covered it from The Verge? That's what I mean. Okay, hang on a minute. So you're telling me contained in this Verge article, they take issue with Call of Duty going on game. I swear to frick, if I read this and it's some like little dinky byline, I don't need to read this. I've conceded it and said that Sony has no say in Call of Duty going to Game Pass. All right, hang on. No, I need to search for the word pass. All right, it's mentioned 8 times in the article. Microsoft claims that they've been hampered, blah, blah, blah. Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. Sony hasn't responded to this in particular, but at $9.99 per month, Xbox Game Pass is easy to imagine consumers picking that option for titles like Call of Duty instead of paying $60 for the game. Okay, is there any... Oh, here it is. Microsoft claims that adding Activision Blizzard content to Game Pass will actually increase competition. The inclusion of Activision Blizzard content in Game Pass does not impair the ability of other players to compete in the digital game distribution market, claims Microsoft in one document, where the company also argues an increase of competition thanks to the high-quality content and lower immediate cost. Where does Sony say they don't want it to be on Game Pass? I just read an article where they recorded their highest profits. No. 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 Not profit. They had their best year with respect to revenue, or you could say profits. But as a division as a whole, they haven't gotten into the green yet. They had their best fiscal year to date. That is true. That doesn't mean that they're out of the black. Does that make sense? So when you open a restaurant, your first 3 years, it's like 2 years in the red, third year in the black, fourth year in the green, if you're lucky. So you could have your best fiscal year and still be in the black. I see Xbox going the way of not even making a console in the future and just making their own version of the stream machine or stream and on stream using Game Pass. Yeah. They're moving away from hardware in the next decade, no doubt. No doubt. You'll boot up your TV. There's already a TV with the Xbox Game Pass app in it, and I told folks that was going to happen. I was like, they're just going to start shoving that ecosystem everywhere. I don't care if you're on a box. They want you in their ecosystem. They had their best year in 17 years, and they still lost money. People need to realize that just because almighty Sony can't afford a service like Game Pass doesn't mean it's going to fail if someone else does it. They'll only start selling consoles at a profit many years down the line. Yeah, they're not worried about that. Power of the cloud is what they say. Yeah, I think they think xCloud is the future. This is why Phil Spencer said he sees their competition being Amazon and Google and not Sony. Right? Where's the proof they lost money? What do you mean where's the proof they lost money, Hilly? Oh my gosh. This is all public. What do you mean? Oh, the earnings calls and how much money they've made and how much money they've spent. It's all public. We're not making stuff up. What are you talking about? They were going to shut the division down. They've had 1, maybe 2 years in the black. So all those years in the red, they were losing money. So they're not profitable yet. This is the play. This is the play. They're buying Activision Blizzard to be like, this is the play. This is our future. We will have so much first-party content to throw at our audience. And you don't think Sony would do the same thing if they would look what they're already doing with Call of Duty? Sony is just scared now they're going to lose the market share of COD because of how it shows PS5's commercial. No. They don't want Call of Duty going exclusive because it would be bad for them. That's 100% their right to defend against that. That's what they should do. Their shareholders would be infuriated if they just sat idly by, took the questionnaire, and they're like, go ahead. You just bought 25% of the global gaming market's revenue generation when you bought Activision Blizzard. That's fine. What the huh? This isn't scummy. This isn't wrong or unethical. They are quite literally saying this poses a potential problem to the global gaming market. And you're like, yeah, pro Xbox, suck it, Sony. And it's like, what? That has nothing. This isn't about console fandom. It's not about console loyalty. I honestly think this is what's so funny to me. In one breath, Xbox fans want to act like this deal is massive. Suck it, Sony. Microsoft can write fat checks. They have inexhaustible amounts of money. And then when Sony's like, whoa, you're buying up like 25% of the global market revenue generation in the gaming space. Hold on a second. Wow. Well, you spent money to block games coming on Game Pass. What? Huh? What? It's like you try and make it seem like this big, huge deal, and then in the next breath you want to act like, no, this isn't a big deal. It's not a big deal if one of the friggin' largest, the largest game franchises in freaking history goes to one platform or goes to one subscription service. That's not a big deal. What do you mean? What do you mean? Of course it's a big deal. It's literally, this is what's funny. it's quite literally a reason for you to celebrate as an Xbox fan. So don't downplay it. You got a big win. If you're diehard Xbox and you hate Sony, it's a big win for this to go through. To downplay it and be like, oh, it's not a big deal at all is silly. That's why you should read the docs yourself and get your own opinion on what's the important thing in it. I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to poison the well. You want to act like because I didn't go to Reset Era and comb through pages of documents that I can't formulate an opinion on it because I read an article instead. You're just doing some sneaky little poison the well thing, like call my credibility into question as if like my opinion's ill-informed because I read The Verge instead of combing through Reset Era. You're just being sneaky and underhanded. Like instead of engaging with what I'm saying, you want to act like what I'm saying's illegitimate. Well, I don't have to engage with what you're saying because you didn't comb through 18 pages of Reset Era. No, get the frick out of here with that. It's well established. I don't need to go read a forum. It's well established. Both companies pay for exclusivity. That's established. Right? Or go read more articles and see if they all agree with The Verge. The Verge didn't even take a position. See what you're doing? The Verge didn't take a position. They didn't. Listen to the language. They said it's not clear what Microsoft is referring to, but contracts for publishing games can be complex, particularly when rights for streaming and subscription services are involved. And then they referenced the Epic Games and the Apple trial. And they said, look, even Microsoft was considering doing this. They were considering buying up streaming rights. They wanted the streaming rights for certain things. They also said that the reality is a little bit more complicated. Sony could simply be paying for exclusive rights. So they're giving a what if. They're saying, look, they could just be paying for exclusivity rights, which both sides do, right? They're not saying Sony is in the right here and Microsoft is wrong. They're literally saying, here's what Microsoft said. We have no specifics. They didn't give any specifics. It's not clear what they're referring to. And they go on to say that contracts like this have lots of stipulations in them, just like when Microsoft was considering doing it with streaming. The Verge calls Xbox considered doing something. Isn't that speculation? Yes. And then they did a conditional statement. See, again, you're projecting to undercut and denounce something. That's just underhanded argumentation. If Microsoft had proceeded with its plan, that could have led to the company securing exclusive streaming rights on some games, preventing them from being available on rival streaming services. That's a completely fair sentence. Structured well, it's reasoned well, speculation versus facts. Yes, as you read translated Portuguese documents on a forum, and so that's not going to be a bunch of speculation about what it all means. To be fair, you're missing a lot of bullet points and nuance that was brought up in the documents by not looking at them closer. Saw a lot of in-depth videos on it, and there's a lot to this. Again, so surprising that you're doing the same underhanded, fallacious, poison the well type of argumentation. Well, I didn't go read the Reset Era forums. There's all these bullet points. There's all this nuance, and you're missing that. No, I'm not. I'm not missing the forest for the trees. You are attempting, because you can't engage with my argumentation, because my argumentation is completely logical. Hey, Call of Duty's too big to be exclusive. That'd be bad for us. Microsoft says, we agree. We're not going to do that. It wouldn't be profitable, right? I'm pointing out what the other guy was trying to say. Yeah, you're agreeing with somebody who's being underhanded, and they're not engaging with my points. They're trying to get around my points by poisoning the well. It's underhanded and dishonest. It's not an honest way to argue. Well, you didn't go read all the forums. Oh, okay. Tell me what is that break in my argumentation? What point gets broken? This is what's hilarious. You went and read them all, so you do it. You do it. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Bring those bullet points to bear on the argumentation. If you're so much more well-informed than me and you've read all of those, why is it so difficult to just put that in chat? Why? Put it in chat right now. What nuance am I missing? Go for it. Microsoft said it wouldn't be profitable for them. Yeah. Sony is saying it wouldn't be profitable for Sony. Very different things. Well, no. They're agreeing, but they're on opposite ends of the telescope. Sony says that game can't be replaced in the market. It's way too big. It generates way too much money. And Microsoft says, you're exactly right. It is too big. And it does generate too much money. We would lose money if we did that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to. And so, I said that. I said, no, the shareholders will get involved. There's no frickin' way they do that. So yes, they're both looking at it from the opposite ends of the telescope. They're both looking at it from their interests. And that's not in disagreement. But Microsoft comes out and says, listen, you've paid for blocking rights and it's hampered our ability to grow Game Pass. You've actually said several things this morning that you thought didn't happen but did, like the Resident Evil Village thing. No. Yep. Again, you are just such a dishonest person. I have zero respect for you because you're just a liar. That's not what I said. I conceded it and said, let's just say they did it. I said, let's do it for the sake of the argument. Let's just say they paid for Resident Evil Village to not be on Game Pass. What's the problem with that? Every company does this sort of thing. And I got crickets. Resident Evil Village thing is still speculation. I'm serious. I've lost all respect for you because every time you come in here, you just lie. You just say things that aren't true and you misrepresent me at every turn. You're just a liar. You should honestly just find somewhere else to hang out. It's just irritating to engage with somebody who has zero integrity and honesty and charity in the way that they argue. As soon as you brought up Resident Evil Village, I was like, all right, fine, I'll concede that. Let's say they did that. What's the problem with that? And I got crickets. I got no response as to why that's a problem. The fact that it is all there in the documents and you came to the conversation without that knowledge. Okay. What does that have to do with my argumentation? Again, you are attempting an underhanded way of argumentation. You're attempting to poison the well and then denounce my entire argument by being like, well, you didn't read enough. You missed a couple finer points. None of that is a refutation of what I have said. I wish I could paste the documents. 10 months from Rainbow. Thank you so much for almost an entire year. And Texas jumping in on their own and grabbing a whole new membership. You're arguing points with half the information available? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No. I even said, MRI guy, in the opening of today's stream, I said, even if Sony did this, what's the problem with that? All companies do this. It's hard to keep up when you're grinding an axe and you're a liar. I literally said that. I was like, what's the big deal? This isn't a story. Even if they paid to keep things off of Game Pass. What? Who cares? Like, I granted that point 45 minutes ago. Does Microsoft have proof other than that they said in the Brazil documents, which can be changed because of how open their government is? Do they have proof that Sony blocked Microsoft on the exclusive rights? Facts is more important than speculation. It just make believe sayings. When you have facts on the line, it's what it says. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. I didn't know I was going to watch Lono massacre chatters today. I don't have any patience for dishonest argumentation. You're not getting it. Blocking rights on Game Pass without exclusivity is hampering competition, which goes against the Sherman Act of 1890. That's the problem. No. But that's not true. No. because both companies have subscription services, okay? Both companies have subscription services, and protecting that subscription service by limiting something being able to go on a subscription service is not anti-competition. That's literally saying, if you're going to be on our subscription service, we don't want you to be on another subscription service. That doesn't need to be tied with exclusivity on a platform. It doesn't. It has nothing to do with that. I even said earlier this morning, if Microsoft's going to pay a company and say, hey, we want your game on Game Pass, I literally said they have every right to say, we don't want this game to be on another subscription service. That makes sense. It makes perfectly good sense. I'm just trying to point out, Lono, every other video I've watched actually had the documents that they refer back to and had highlights. Yeah, an MRI guy, you are on the canvas bleeding and knocked out. You've said that 8 times. Go frickin' watch their content then. I don't need to read the documents to establish my argument. Try to keep up. If a company is going to spend money to protect their subscription funnel by keeping a game off of another subscription funnel, I have no problem with that. That's my opinion. I don't need to go read a Reset Era article and pull up the documents to make that case. I don't have a problem with that. Why? Because everybody's doing it. Claiming there's additional information that the arguer isn't using is not an argument in and of itself. Thank you. You're not arguing a point. You've said that 7 times now. It would help your case? Well, it certainly isn't helping your case. You just keep saying the same thing. Argue a point. What am I missing? Do it. I've asked you 3 times now. Do it. You're so much more informed than me. You watch such superior content to mine, so you should be in a great position to make an argument. And you haven't. You just keep saying, well, these other guys pulled up the documents, and you didn't read the documents. Okay, you've established that point. Since you're in such an elevated position of informed on this, and I apparently am not, use that information to make an argument. Do it. You seemingly lack the ability to do so. The 1890 acts were for alcohol. Like, yours is actually the best because you dive into it. Right, but Mad Mardigan, but you didn't this time? I did the same thing I've done every time I've covered something like this. I grabbed an article, I read direct quotes from Microsoft, I read direct quotes from Sony, and I said, there's nothing here. This isn't a story. That's what I did. But because I didn't go and read documents on a Reset Era forum, I didn't do a good enough job. Apparently, the only thing you're missing is the document. That's what I'm saying. If the funny thing is, the people that keep pointing out I didn't go to the documents, why is it so difficult for you to point out the things that I've missed? Do it. You can type right now. You can go into my Discord. There is an unlimited amount of characters in my Discord, and you're not doing that. I generally agree with your points, but it kind of falls apart when you say they're protecting the service because Resident Evil 8 is not on their service. Wait, hang on. Is that true? Resident Evil Village, there was exclusivity with Sony, was there not? Resident Evil 8, Sony exclusivity. They had exclusivity with it, did they not? Didn't they do something early, or they did something? Xbox players misinterpreting. Xbox players think Sony is paying to limit. Continue the site. A while ago, it became aware. This is last year. A while ago, Capcom became a victim of a ransomware attack. Feature content, technical parody. In layman's term, this paragraph above, Capcom will ensure that PlayStation versions of Resident Evil Village aren't technically inferior because there are platform limitations. This paragraph does not mean that Sony has asked Capcom to limit the Xbox Series X versions. Oh, people were thinking that they were limiting the performance. And that was false. I thought Resident Evil Village got something on Sony that it didn't get elsewhere. And you're telling me it's not on the subscription service? What proof do we have that Microsoft is proving that Sony is blocking? People are claiming that they paid for Resident Evil Village to not be on Game Pass. It would have been nice to dive into the latest comments from Sony versus Microsoft. Yeah, you're right, Mad Mardigan. Like an article by The Verge that was published on August the 10th, last week when all this came out. Literally, August the 10th is Wednesday of last week. I didn't see anything else other than Resident Evil Village, which, again, is there any proof that they did that? Or is it just them claiming that it happened? Is there a contract? That was just part of it. They also said that they can't put it on Game Pass or any Xbox service because it's marketing rights. That's what I'm saying. Sony had something with Resident Evil Village. They if they had let's just say they had the marketing rights. They do a deal. They have the marketing rights for Hogwarts Legacy as well. They do, okay? And if part of those marketing rights, they say, listen, we're going to market your game. We're going to put your trailers on our channels. And when we do that, you can't put your game on Game Pass. Because we're footing the bill here. We're marketing your game. And it wouldn't make any sense for it to show up on the competitor's subscription service if we're doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if, let's just take the argument. It's not on any subscription service or anything with Sony. They didn't get timed exclusivity or anything. And they didn't want it to be on Game Pass, and they baked it into the contract. Okay. What else was in the contract? The hilarity here is I have people telling me that I don't have the nuance and I don't have the finer points. It sounds like you don't. Do you have that contract in your hand? I'm playing the same game you're playing. Do you have the contract in your hand? Can you read the contract between Sony and Resident Evil? Do you have that? No? Well, then your entire argumentation falls to pieces. Because you don't know the stipulations as to why it happens. Therefore, I'm using the same argumentation against you. You have no argument. You have them claiming that they blocked it from being on Game Pass. Where's the contract? What were the stipulations? Why did they do it? You don't have that? Then shut the frick up. Because you don't have anything at that point. You literally have them claiming that it happened, and until we see the contract between Sony and Resident Evil Village, you have no argument. Because there literally could have been a stipulation. We're going to market your game. We're going to put it on our YouTube channel. We're going to put together the trailers. We're going to do the pressers. We're going to push it all out, which I'm fairly certain they did that with Resident Evil Village. And if they said in that contract, we'll do this, but it can't go on Game Pass because that's dissonant with the marketing. We got our thumbnail. We got our thumbnail with our logo on your game. We don't want it on Game Pass. That makes sense. If Microsoft did that, I wouldn't care. Solid Snake with a $5 tip. You're the GOAT. Glad you're streaming this morning. Hobie Wan Kenobi renewing their membership and jumping back in. Thank you. Like, I'm going to look for it right now. Hang on. I got to find the PlayStation channel. Oh, it's right here. PlayStation channel, search for Village. Look. Jiminy freaking Christmas, you guys. It's too early for all of this. Hang on, I gotta turn that off. I gotta turn this on. I gotta turn that on. Turn this on. This is the PlayStation channel. They literally did a Resident Evil State of Play. You get the full story. Don't come to me and tell me I gotta get the full story. You don't have the full story. Why? Why in the frick, like, try to dream up a reason that Sony might not have wanted Resident Evil Village on Game Pass. Gee, it's really hard for me to think of a reason. Maybe they were literally marketing the game. They did a state of play for it. But they're trying to hamper the growth of Game Pass. Shut the frick up. Don't tell me I'm missing the nuance. Don't tell me I'm missing bullet points when you're missing a glaring and obvious point. Just like Hogwarts, they're literally marketing the game. So do you think they want this video with almost 200,000 views and the announcement trailer has 3 million views on their channel with their logo and they don't want it on Game Pass? But that's because they're trying to hamper Game Pass. No, they latched onto a big title and they said, listen, we're going to market this. We want a piece of this. We want a piece of this game. And it wouldn't make any sense for it to be on Game Pass if we do this. So sit down. This is a good Monday back. Yo, Poopsack coming in. Poopsack coming in. KC, Shockwave, Fuzzy, Headkiller, Tarix, Shadow Ninja, Dr. Dinglenut, Hiram, Jeff, and Ziggy Ba. Thank you guys. You guys all got memberships. Make sure and say thank you to Poopsack. He's trying to bring the temperature down. He's making me say his name. Explain, please, what you mean we're going to market this. We're going to market this. We're going to go live in our studio and do a state of play, and Resident Evil's gonna be a part of it. What do you mean? It's on their YouTube channel. It's got the PlayStation logo in the corner. My gosh. Sandy hitting 17 months. That's a renewal. Half a year milestone for Lewis. Thank you so much. A $5 tip from James. Don't forget, Sony also got an exclusive tech demo for Village called Maiden. I'm not talking to you on this dinner. There were other guys in here running with the narrative that I didn't go read the Reset Era forums and I was missing the nuance and the bullet points. And I just set them the frick down and gave them a lesson in trying to argue with me with underhanded tactics. It doesn't go very well. So yeah, they got sat down. I had to spank their bottom. The frick out of here. The public and the news sites can't even see the information. Yeah, it's just in brackets. Restricted access to Microsoft. Restricted access to Microsoft. We don't know. We don't even know what that is. Come in here and do that. Don't come in here and do that. I know I was out of town, and I know I may have missed some angle of this, but there is perfectly good reasons for PlayStation to keep Resident Evil Village off of Game Pass. It has the PlayStation logo in the corner and everything, but the game isn't exclusive or anything, right? Oh my gosh. See, again, you're thinking unidimensionally. There are other contracts that aren't exclusivity contracts. I think the world's bigger than you think it is. You're thinking you're creating a false binary. You're basically thinking it's either an exclusivity contract or it's something else. It's something shady, it's something scummy. No, you've created a false binary. Sony enters into the agreement with Hogwarts or Resident Evil Village. Why? They see it as a gigantic title. Like this title is going to be massively successful. We want to be a part of this. We are going to be in contract with you. We want the marketing rights. It's shady in nature. Argue how. That's just an assertion. How is it shady? A 7-month milestone for Robert. How would someone who doesn't know how to argue know about bad tactics and fallacies? How to argue with Lono class. When? Also welcome back. Thank you, Robert. On the bright side, I just bought a tumbler. My man, Mr. Glum, thank you so much. I thought Hogwarts was on Xbox. Oh, see, you're missing it. You're missing it. I'm talking too fast. Hogwarts is going to be on Xbox. Sony is the marketing company. Hogwarts, all their stuff's on the PlayStation channel. There's going to be a Hogwarts State of Play. Bet. There's a trailer for exclusive features with Hogwarts with the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. What? They paid money for that. And I bet you dollars to donuts, Hogwarts ain't going to be on Game Pass. And it's probably baked into a contract somewhere. And Sony has every right to do that. If we're going to market your game, if we're going to spend money, if we're going to assist and put together, marketing packages to help your game's publicity, your game's top of mind marketing and footprint of awareness, if we're going to do that, then we don't want that game on Game Pass, because that completely muddies the waters. It's like, why is Sony out here promoting a game and doing trailers for a game that's going to be on Game Pass? That's counterproductive. No, they don't. Stop lying. Sony doesn't do that. Wait, who are you talking to, Mark? Yo, East Coast Overlord, almost an entire year of membership. That's a great milestone. Can I get a summary? This seems nuanced. Also, welcome back. All right, I'm going to give you a summary if you're just tuning in. Because boy, oh boy, it's gotten spicy. 38. Okay. It's gotten real spicy. So, Sony took issue in a questionnaire that gets sent to everybody about the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal. And Sony said, Call of Duty is too big of a title to be exclusive. Apparently, they have also uttered concerns about Call of Duty going on Game Pass. Okay? They believe that would create a tipping point. Okay? So the first thing that we covered a week and a half ago was Call of Duty is way too big to go exclusive. I said Microsoft won't be able to do it. Their shareholders would get involved and say, you're going to lose too much money. Microsoft agrees with me. They literally came out and said it simply wouldn't be profitable. Now, apparently, there's other documentation that's come out, and Sony has an issue if Call of Duty goes on Game Pass. They believe it would create a quote-unquote tipping point. I don't agree with that. I don't think that Call of Duty being free on Game Pass would be enough to convince people to go buy another box and then another subscription to save $60. I don't agree with that market analysis. I don't think there's anything to that. I agree with their market analysis that Call of Duty is simply too big of a title to go exclusive to one platform. There is no market replacement for it, okay? Now, in response, Microsoft is claiming that Sony is paid for blocking rights to keep games off of Game Pass, and it has hindered and hampered their ability to grow Game Pass. And I said this morning, I don't have a problem with Sony protecting their interests, their investments, or their subscription service by being like, we don't want that game on Game Pass. And somebody said, well, Resident Evil Village wasn't on any Sony subscriptions and there was no exclusivity. So paying to keep something off of Game Pass while not paying for exclusivity is scummy and unethical. But upon further research, it's pretty clear Sony is entering into marketing contracts with companies, as they did with Resident Evil Village. They featured it on their State of Play. They did the announcement trailer 2 years ago, and it's got over 3 million views on their PlayStation channel right here, okay? So, it stands to reason that if Sony is going to enter into a marketing contract with the company and their game, it stands to reason that they're going to say, listen, we don't want that game to be on Game Pass. That is counterproductive to our benefiting from marketing your game. And we got Hogwarts Legacy as another great example. Hogwarts Legacy is going to have exclusive features on Sony. I even said there might be other exclusives coming to Hogwarts that Sony paid for. And in that contract, it makes perfectly good sense to say, Hogwarts, we don't want it on Game Pass. that would not be, that they're protecting their interests. Like, Sony writes a fat check and they're just supposed to shrug and be like, hey, it's totally fine. We spent all this money. We used our market footprint, our YouTube channel. We used our staff and our marketing division to create all this stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Put it on Game Pass. What in a frick? Eknor with a 3-month, and it's a tier 3. Even if Call of Duty goes to Game Pass, it's a heavily monetized game. Xbox owners still have to deal with season passes and in-game micros. Yeah, golly, I just don't think it'd be good for Microsoft to do it. But they want to bolster the quality of Game Pass, and that's an easy way to do it. Call of Duty. People are saying Sony is making game performance worse on other consoles. I want to see proof because it's BS. Xbox diehards just don't understand why some games run better on a console. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Sony paid to make games run bad on the Series S. I can't wait for that. According to the documents found in the leaked files, says Hilly, Sony has a contract with Capcom to ensure that no version of the game runs and looks better than on the PS5, and to keep Resident Evil Village off Xbox Game Pass for a full year. Yeah, but that apparently that line about they don't want it to look and run any better than any other platform got misconstrued. I read 2 different articles on that, and they said that it wasn't them trying to hurt the performance of the game elsewhere. They didn't want another console to get something better. Like, hey, Resident Evil Village has ray tracing on the Series X. They don't want that. They're like, no. It needs to run. Like, if it's going to run on the PS5, it can't run better anywhere else. You can't give better treatment to Xbox, for example. Why? Because they entered into a marketing contract with the title. So it makes perfectly good sense to be like, listen, if we're going to market your dadgum game, you better not make it run better on another console, and you better not put it on Game Pass. Like, that makes sense. A $5 tip from East Coast Overlord. There seems to be a lot of nuance here. I think what Sony is doing is okay as long as you can still obtain the games on other platforms. Who cares? The marketing contract's awfully invasive, not just promotion, but all the P's. You really think they signed a marketing contract before making sure it's not coming to Game Pass? That doesn't have anything to do with the discussion. Like, I think you can't downplay this. You cannot downplay this. If they are literally taking their 14 million subscriber YouTube channel, making a trailer, making a state of play, and promoting your game, what? You think they're just doing that because they, like, for the fun of it? There's a lot of money trading hands there. There's a lot of benefits. Like, both the game company and Sony are looking to benefit from that. It's a symbiotic relationship. Like, it makes perfectly good sense to say, if we're going to spend this time, this money, and this investment, we can't have this game that we're actively promoting running better on the other console. And we can't have it on our competitor's subscription service. That would be like us indirectly promoting our competitor. I'm a pro Xbox guy, but the making it run better on Xbox is disingenuous at best. They ask for parity. Right! They ask for parity. They're like, we don't want this game to run better on another console. We need parity. If we're going to promote this game, we can't have anything coming out that it runs better on our competitor. That would look incredibly stupid. Man, Sony spent a bunch of money marketing and promoting that game. It runs better on Xbox, and it's on Xbox Game Pass. How stupid is Sony? What are you doing? Why would you do that? They decided to market on their channel once they knew the game was not going to be on Game Pass. Oh my gosh, Kareem. You're thinking so simplistically. So you think that Sony... By the way, Kareem, the leaks indicate that Sony entered into a deal to keep it off of Game Pass. So that's not true. But you honestly think that Sony was sitting there and they're like, oh, it's not going to be on Game Pass. Hurry, put together a trailer. They have to enter a contract. You can't do that. Where do you think all the gameplay footage? Where's the B-roll come from? Where's the logos? Where's the stuff at the end and all the legalese at the bottom? Where the frick do you think that comes from? They go into a contract. Am I serious? What do you mean, am I serious? You're indicating the most asinine thing I have ever heard of. You think Sony is sitting there and they're like, oh, it's not going to be on Game Pass. Quick, make a trailer. They can't do that. It's not their property. They enter into a contract. Where do you think the B-roll comes from? Approved footage for marketing. Where do you think all the stuff at the end comes from? The end card that's like, coming to Xbox X and PlayStation 5 and PC in September 23rd. Where do you think all that comes from? They enter into a contract. Like, you guys honestly think that the playground console war antics is how these companies do business? You think that they operate and think like you do? That Sony's just sitting there like, frick that game. If it goes on Game Pass, frick it. Frick that game. And they're like, oh, it's not going to go on Game Pass? Quick, make a trailer. You agree to disagree? There is no agree to disagree when you're wrong. Kareem, the reason that we're talking about this is leaked documents came out that Sony literally did the thing that you're saying they didn't do. A document came out that Sony said, we want graphical parity and we don't want that game on Game Pass. And you're saying that that's not what happened. You're saying that Sony sat by and then the minute they saw it wasn't going to be on Game Pass, they made a trailer. Make sure we don't market games that are Game Pass games on our channel. Sounds more logical. No, because it's literally rooted in ignorance. With respect, what you're saying is rooted in ignorance. Like, that's not the way these things work, homie. You're literally saying things that aren't true. These companies, that's not what they do, man. That's not what they do. They do not, that's not how they operate. YouTube had a blip or something. We just lost like 50 people. They might bounce back. It's happened the other day. If you're having to refresh, it's not on me. I didn't have any blips. I didn't have any drop frames. My bandwidth is rock solid. I'm sorry if you had to refresh. We just lost like 60 people in a heartbeat. These deals happen months or years before the game is even ready to make trailers. That's exactly right. You think a company Sony size is just like, whip up a trailer. They're not going to be on Game Pass. They took necessary precautions with Capcom, and then once they made sure it wasn't on Game Pass, to go ahead with the okay for marketing. I'm sorry, bro. You're saying stuff that is stupid. It's demonstrably stupid. You think companies the size of PlayStation and Capcom are just making trailers out of the goodness of their hearts. They enter into marketing contracts. It's a thing. There's literally a contract that got leaked indicating this. What you're saying is just stupid, bro. Like, there's no other way for me to engage with what you're saying. It doesn't make any sense. When Microsoft promotes a game, let's go to the Xbox channel. When Microsoft promotes a game and they have their logo in the beginning and the end of the trailer, that is something that is agreed upon, bro. They're in a contract. Because when they make that trailer, that's negotiated. They have logo and branding standards that have to be abided by. Here's our logo. Here's the colors the logo can be in. Here's how much space and negative space needs to be around the logo when you use it. Here are adequate and good marketing materials to use. Here are good images to use. Here's B-roll. Here's gameplay. All of these things can be utilized in the trailer. All of this is agreed upon in the contract. Every single game, from the littlest indie title to the biggest debut title, they all do this. They have branding standards. They have logo guidelines. They have B-roll that they're allowed to use. And it's all done well in advance. So Sony didn't put Resident Evil Village trailers together, and they certainly didn't put Hogwarts Legacy exclusive DualSense features trailers together just because, well, by golly, it's not going to be on Game Pass. Get on that, Johnson. Like, no, that's not the way these companies operate. The very reason we're talking about this is because one of the contracts apparently got leaked. Minstree with a $10 tip. Here's your vacation you're going to need starting tomorrow. Thank you, Minstree, for the $10 tip. The way Xbox and Sony carry on makes me not want either. One contract leak and it's full of yuck. What do you mean? Like, what do you think these companies are doing? Do you think they're spending millions of dollars, Hilly, investing in games, developers, marketing contracts, publishing rights, distribution rights? You think they're doing all of that and they're like, we just want everybody to have a good time? No, they want money. That's what they want. Take your glasses off. That you take your rainbow and unicorn glasses off and put the real world glasses on. They want money. That's what they want. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They care about money. They don't care if you have a good time in the game. They don't care if you feel good about your purchase. Well, they do a little bit with respect to marketing and loyalty. They want money. That's what they want. And there are numerous angles to getting it. And it's not as simple as being like, well, we're either going to pay for full exclusive, as you say, go full exclusive or go home. We're going to either going to pay for full exclusive or nothing. No. Kill Shot with a $5 tip. How long before Xbox has to raise its prices to keep Game Pass at its high quality that they're trying to project? Game Pass will increase prices end of next year, almost assuredly. Hulu's doing it. Netflix is doing it. Disney Plus is doing it. Everyone's raising their subscription prices. Game Pass will not be immune to that. They will. An 8-month milestone for Ratchet. Good morning, Lono in chat. Please continue to have a great day and give this man some likes. Thank you, my man. Yeah, how do we not have 400 likes? The viewership's bouncing back from whatever the frick that blip was. We need 20 more likes for 400. When the next Call of Duty, at this point, we're moving away from yearly releases. Now past Call of Duties can be added. I could see that. Yo, what's good, Zubair? Your Game Pass is actually losing money? Yeah, they're going to have to raise the price. That's why Microsoft's coming out with the family plan, 5 accounts for $25. Yeah, they want to fill the funnel with as many people as they can, and then you raise the price by $5. Price raise is only bad if the content ain't worth it. Game Pass just going to get better and better. I actually agree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. Game Pass is amazing. In 3 years, Game Pass is going to be bonkers. Can you imagine booting up your Xbox and being able to play Activision Blizzard titles and you don't have to buy them? It's just part of your Game Pass? Oh my gosh. People always glide over my praise for Microsoft. They glide over my allegiance to Microsoft. I have a Series X. I love my Game Pass. I've continued to say Microsoft could be a sleeping giant. They could emerge from the water and everybody like, oh my gosh, we thought those little fins coming out of the water were sharks and it's Godzilla. They could very well step out of the water and be massive in the industry. Their ecosystem could get incredibly competitive. But it could also go poorly for them. It happened with Netflix. It happened with Netflix because the rights holders of the content start to realize that this isn't a good deal for us. So they start leaving Netflix. Same thing could happen with Game Pass. I think Microsoft saw that reality coming to fruition and they said, we got to buy up titles. We need titles. We need Blizzard Activision. They go and they buy 25% of the global gaming market revenue share. They buy a fourth of the dadgum market. So they knew. They knew that they needed their own property, which Netflix did the same thing. Netflix starts investing in first-party content. Big money, right? Why? Well, they were losing. They lose all the Marvel stuff. They lose The Office. Yeah, they lost The Walking Dead. Starts to hurt. So they see that coming. They see that coming to fruition. So what do? They start investing in their own content. So it's what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft sees that, look, we're not going to be able to have a constant flow of third-party titles on Game Pass because it's contrary to what generates money for the third-party game. We can't keep writing checks to third-party companies. You know, we can't rely on this for forever. Let's buy up our own stuff. It's a 900 IQ play. I've always said that. It's freaking ballsy. It's absolutely ballsy. I got respect for it. But it might blow up in their face. Like, I can have respect for Batman grabbing the bomb and running out of town with it to save everybody's life. Like, that's ballsy, man. I got respect for that. Doesn't mean that it's not a massively risky thing that he's doing. It's a huge risk. Yo, Mr. Muggle ordered a best of both worlds, a light roast and a dark roast. Thank you. Appreciate that. What did we spend on? Okay, that's better. That's better. Okay. Tumblers have been fixed. They are orderable, and the orders go through properly now. We had an issue with the first order. It went through properly, but something was wrong on the back end. That doesn't concern the customer, but we fixed our back end issue. What's the next topic later? The Forspoken trailer is confusing and bad. People are like, this guy's a Sony shill. Well, yeah, we'll just wait. Adam West for the win. That's right. That's right. Of course, Sony wants Microsoft to go away. They keep their games off other platforms, where Microsoft still releases their games on PlayStation right now. I actually don't think Sony wants Microsoft to go away. Coffee is for the wife to try. Love you, man. Thank you, Mr. Muggle. I appreciate that. Am I the only one sweating from today's show from the spicy? It got this has been really fun. It got good. The whole thing was Sony complaining about Call of Duty going exclusive and going to Game Pass. But the fact is we have precedents. Minecraft happened. I said I was willing to have nuance on it. I am totally in agreement with Sony that Microsoft can't make Call of Duty exclusive. And I argued based on profit alone. And Microsoft said, we agree. It wouldn't be profitable for us to do that. So, Sony also apparently has an issue with it going on Game Pass. And I'm like, you don't really have a say in that. Like, you don't really have a say in that. If Microsoft gets this deal and they spend $70 billion, they have every right to say Call of Duty is going to be on Game Pass. I think they have every right to do that. And I think Sony's overstating the market influence. I can't see somebody being like, all my friends, all my experience, all my Call of Duty gameplay for the past 5 or 6 years has been on Sony. It'll cost me $60 to $70 to buy the next Call of Duty title, but it's on Game Pass. So I could shell out $400 for a new console, sign up for Game Pass, and get it for free. Nobody's gonna do that. Who's doing that? Now, for all the people that own both consoles, yeah, I'm not gonna pay for Call of Duty if I don't have to. Like, I'm just gonna download it. I got Game Pass. Boop. Hey, I got the latest Call of Duty. But I know it's cross-save, cross-plays in those, but still, like, you're not going to do that. You're not going to buy another console so you can save $60. Your reasoning right there is exactly why Xbox will make Call of Duty exclusive at some point. No, I don't think so. No. Think about it like this, Ryan. Think about it like this. Microsoft just came out and said it wouldn't be profitable. It wouldn't be profitable for them to do that, right? What do you think is going to change over the course of the next 5 years, 10 years to change that reality? You honestly think that many people will shift from playing Call of Duty on PlayStation over to Microsoft to justify the decision? You understand, that even if there's a percentage shift, if there's, let's just say Sony starts to lose its foothold in Call of Duty, and there's only, let's say 15%, 15 to 20% of the Call of Duty community plays on PlayStation. Microsoft shareholders would still get involved and say, wait a minute. Wait. You got to make this make sense to me. 15 to 20% of the Call of Duty market. That's a lot of people. And you're just going to cut those people off? How are you going to make up that loss? Where are you going to make up the loss? Because if it's just a loss with no business projections or sales projections to make up the loss, we will sue you if you do this, because that will cost us money. The shareholders would get involved and be like, you can't frickin' do that. What are you doing? Like, I don't think that reality is ever going to change. Like, you're not going to have a groundswell movement to the point that like almost no one's playing. Hey, Lono and chat, hope all is well. Good to be back, especially with a topic like this. What's good, Apollyon? There are no PS5s to buy. Sony needs to be worried if there is no PlayStation option to buy. Well, the projections are that they're going to be able to ramp up production. I don't think Sony's concerned about that. Honestly, Lono, for this exact reason is why I'm thinking they can't make the next Elder Scrolls exclusive. It's too big, too much money left on the table. Starfield's different from Elder Scrolls. It's huge. You got to remember, though, Tony, that the Elder Scrolls will be on Xbox and PCs. I don't know. Maybe they'll do it for a year, and then they'll kick it over to Sony. Just maximize profit from the property. Sony does third-party action-adventure games well. They're getting scare levels, though, because they know they don't have anything to compete with FPS now that Xbox has Call of Duty. I mean, yeah, they don't have any way to compete with first-person shooters, except that they own Bungie. And they're going to start a live service, like, hub and crank out a bunch of live service games. Like, if there's a company that can help them with first-person shooter titles, you would pick what? Bungie and Respawn. They're two of the best. They bought Bungie. Bungie monetization's kind of eh. Hence why they had to buy Bungie. Oh, okay. So if to compete with your, let's say you own a taco shop and there's a taco shop down the road, and to compete with that taco shop, you buy a tequila machine because they have a tequila machine, and this tequila machine's all the rage. Someone's like, you had to do that. Oh, okay. You making a point? So they made a good business decision? Is that what are you praising them? I don't understand. This is comedic to you? Why is this funny? I don't get it. Yo, Mr. Glum! Mr. Glum with a 10 gifted members. Why are they not being grabbed? What's happening? Is YouTube having a brain fart? There are so many gray names in chat right now. What is happening? Guys, click allow gifts. Why are these not being grabbed? That's got to be a glitch. What's going on? What exactly is a tequila machine, and where can I get one? I just made something up. What's happening? There are tons of gray names in chat. There's almost 500 people here. This has got to be a glitch. Ha ha ha, you made a good business decision, sucker. Bungie is rumored to be regretting the deal with Sony. Sony already has told Bungie they have to help work. Hang on. They have to help work on other games. Where's the accept gift option? I don't understand. No way to claim the freebie? Okay, if you're trying to claim the freebie, maybe refresh chat and see if you can claim it. That can't be right. There is quite literally no way that every gray name in chat right now can't claim it. I think I got it to work. Yeah, it's like they're stuck. Nope, not working. Yeah, like Dr. Red should be able to claim it. He's here all the time. Some of these names that are gray, Warpath is here all the time. Birdface is here all the time. Butters is here all the time. Something's wrong. Maybe the funds didn't clear. All right, hang on a second. Let me try. Sony is seriously pathetic. Then Microsoft's pathetic. They've both done the same thing. They've both done the same thing. All right, gifted members. I'm going to do a 5 spot. And then if it doesn't work for me, then don't anybody gift. There might be some kind of a glitch going on. Chat blipped earlier. Yeah, chat might be jacked. Yeah, mine aren't getting claimed either. Oh, no, there we go. Anodyne, Brit, Butters, Bear on a Sled, and Hemulin. So, what the frick? I don't understand. Yeah, Glums are stuck. Glum, can you gift just one and see if that unsticks it or something? Did it clear? Did the funds clear as well? Like, check and see that you got a receipt. Did you get a receipt from YouTube? We need the ability to revoke. Glums gifted are like the dodgeball stuck in the ceiling. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, it charged my PayPal and everything. Mine went through. Okay, he just gifted one. Let's see if that one gets claimed. That might unstick the others or something. Okay, there's that one. Well, that's just incredibly stupid. So just that one got glitched. Maybe there's a limit? No, I mean, he just gifted one and Mike got it. You're going to have to take it up with YouTube, Glum, because you got charged money and it didn't work. So you'll have to file a report. If you got 2 receipts, go to the receipt and say, hey, it didn't work. Yo, a 9-month milestone from Dodevas. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Okay, Glum, now do 25 more. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, I don't get why people think that this is like, I don't know. Dodevas is gifting 5 memberships. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Now we got a little bit of a member train going. There we go. Dodevas got grabbed right away. Patrick, Chrono Trigger, another Patrick, Human Type Person, and King Arthur. All of them got grabbed. Yo, Peepo renewing their membership. Thank you so much, Peepo. A 7-month milestone for my man Neil, and he's doing a tier 3. I love it. I love to see it. Let's see how many tier 2s we have. Because I want to launch that new segment so bad. Yo, a whole year from Tenor. Whole year. That's a nice milestone. And he's one of the tier 2s. Mr. Glum threw down the gauntlet a while ago. He said, listen, if we get enough tier 2s, he'll upgrade. We need 33 people to upgrade from tier 1 to tier 2. Neil says, hey, I'll give some members. Vig, Gaming, Mark, Flash Gordon, 8 Legion, and OPEC PNC. All of you guys got memberships. Make sure and say thank you to Neil. That's very generous. I like seeing somebody like Mark get one. Newer name as far as I could tell. Joining in the discussion this morning. Yo, Terminal Stupidity says, I'm going to gift 5. Let's go. Let's get some more. Let's keep the train going, he says. Such a top community. I agree. Johnny Two Shoes. Seraphim Rudy Plays got one. Soulmane Grim got one. GNS got one. Commando G-Man got one. And a 12-month milestone for Steven Marston. That's a whole year. Y'all crazy with the membership. And Mr. Glum says, listen, we had a glitch, but I'm going to do it anyway. 10 more coming in. And a $10 tip from Nobody. 1030 Media Group, Zach Quartz, Vorian, Rockin' Robin, Ryan, QBZ, Alex Jordan, Zach Johnson, Ross Lavender, and Jimmy Ludwig. Make sure and say thank you to our main man, Mr. Glum, gifting those memberships. We climbed back into the 1300s today. Refund, regift. Oh, you got a refund? Okay. Yeah, they should be able to audit that and immediately see that something didn't work right. We have 1,307 members. We climbed back into 1,300s today. Creature says it looks like the first set got auto-assigned, but I don't know. How do you accept a gifted sub? You have to be in a browser, and you have to click accept gifts. But if you can't click it, you might be on a branded account. Creature says the number reflected it. Okay. What's the next subject? The Forspoken trailer. The Forspoken trailer is the next subject, which I should probably schedule it for noon. Yo, Terminal Stupidity says, I'm going to give 5 more memberships. Let's frickin' go. We will also be checking out the Spider-Man PC gameplay today. And all 5 have been grabbed. My man Apollyon got one. Cynic got one. 9mm Productions, Lawrence Wolf, and Scotty B. I love seeing a bunch of names that I recognize. That makes me feel so freaking good. It makes me feel so, so good. Listen, if you guys just got a gifted membership, do me a favor and get in the Discord, all right? The ability to see all of the Forspoken trailer VOD. The ability to see members-only content is really tough on YouTube, but if you're in the Discord, you will never miss anything. Yo, Zinthos gifts one, and J-Ram grabs it real quick. Show and folder. Hang on, I gotta rename that. Okay. All right. Let's schedule the next one. I read on the forum that Zubair helped Sony draft the contract that cockblocked Resident Evil Village and made it run terrible on the Series S. I can't wait for that being like the next thing, Hilly. Did you guys see the tweet that I sent? What remains of Edith Finch running on the Series S? Oh my gosh. I got so many comments on that VOD. People are not happy with my coverage. They think I'm being a hater. I'm like, brother, I am not being a hater. I am not. This is worrisome. There is some worrisome stuff coming out. Okay. Let me grab my tags for Forspoken. It looked like a friggin' slideshow. People won't really notice. Okay. They'll notice when they can't buy something. How did Breath of the Wild turn out? I got it to run, but I forgot that rig was a streaming rig and it only has a 1080 in it. So it had hitches and it wasn't running as smooth as I wanted it to run. So I'm going to have to move my wife's rig out there, and because her rig has a 2080, and see if I can't get it to run better. Because if we're going to do co-op, I can't have it hitching on single player. That just won't work. That would be bad. Okay, let me save that. Viewership has been stellar today as well, guys. Thank you for a strong return back. It's always a little worrisome when we take a week off. Mike hitting a 3-month milestone. That's a new badge for you. You guys are always so generous. Thank you so much, Mike, for jumping back in. I'm not seeing accept gifts. It's because I'm on an OG YouTube account. Yeah, maybe. Is this topic over? No, we're still kicking it around, Wheeze. Or did you avoid chat because of it? Is your sound okay? What do you mean, is my sound okay? In what? I believe accepting gifts is still in beta. Maybe some folks haven't it rolled out to their account. How's the Series S holding gaming back more than the PS4? He doesn't realize what he types, chat. Oh, man. Read that again real slow, bro. Oh, come on, Sebastian. Read what you wrote. Oh, holy frick. Oh, come on, bro. Oh, I checked with previous, and it sounds off today. No bass. Maybe it's just my end. I mean, I'm going through... I don't know. I'm going through the... what's it called? Through the... what is it? The Scarlet. I'm going through the Scarlet. That's what I always go through. There's nothing else for me to go through. That's the normal... I got bass. Sounds good to me. Sounds top-notch as usual here. Yeah, I don't know. Did you do anything? I can't be laughing this hard while driving. I just joined the Discord. Thanks, Zinthos. Thank you, J-Ram, for getting involved. Get committed. Discord usually isn't very bassy. That's normal. It sounds great on the YouTube mobile app. Okay. I've never seen someone dunk on themselves like that. OBS was a little weird this morning. Yeah, I saw that creature. I saw that leak. It was a little weird this morning. Like, OBS didn't have my mic. I had to go into OBS and say, hey, here's my microphone. But it's going... I have not changed anything. Everything's the same. Gain levels are the same, you know, all of it. Did you turn down your speakers while Lono was peaking during the heated discussion? Keep talking, Lono. I'm going to recreate that scene from Private Part. So you're laughing and typing while driving? Good luck. Yeah, good luck. Must be my end. Yeah, I don't know. Does your headphones, did you turn an EQ off or something? Every time I'm here, I seriously want to chuck my S in the trash. The idea of the Series S is a cheap Xbox to place current gen and all old gen compatible games on the cheap, albeit at lower quality. That's why they killed Xbox One manufacturing, isn't it? If Erwin Schrödinger made a video game, it would be called Dead or Alive. Thanks for the 3-month milestone, Paul. The issue with the Series S that I have is I think it's going to cause developers to skip it. That's the concern that I have. So sure, we can argue the finer nuances of like, no, you don't need YouTube Premium to accept gifts. We can argue the finer nuances of like, oh, it's supposed to be a cheap box. The performance is supposed to be not so great. Okay, fine. But I think it's going to make third-party devs are going to skip it. I think that's the issue. I threw my S in the trash last week. Lono was right. I doubt it was built with the capability. It'd be a logistical nightmare. But the Series S really needs a Nintendo 64 expansion pack. Yeah, the memory expansion pack for the Nintendo 64. I got my S box on Wednesday, enjoying Returnal and Ghost of Tsushima right now. Your Sony box. Ganks with a $10 tip through Super Chat. Hope you had a good vacay. After you stood me up, I went to Blind Squirrel. I met some very nice people, ate some good food. Kentucky Irish Red is my new favorite IPA. I brought some home. I've not had Kentucky Irish Red. That's an IPA? I can't believe I haven't had that one yet. Let me see if Total Wine has it, because I've not had that one yet. Yeah, I was sorry to not be able to meet. We literally Kentucky Irish Red. Yeah, Kentucky Irish Red Ale. There it is. They have it. It's an IPA. It's got 5-star rating. Yeah. It looks really cool. I can't see what the ABV is on it though. I'm always interested because if it's too high, it can make it taste funny. I'm gonna add it to the cart just so I can try it next time I put an order through. Yo, Peepo gifted 5 memberships. Random Zero, Elgin Miller, Raw Bacon Taco, Astrid, and Altair. Guys, make sure and say thank you to Peepo. Peepo, I appreciate that very, very much. Thanks for gifting those members. And Ganks, again, yeah. Tomorrow, I'm coaching my daughter's soccer team. I'm assistant coach. And the Irish family that I'm assisting this Irish guy because he knows more about soccer than me. So I was like, you head coach, I'll assist. I want to learn. I know the basics, but I want to learn from somebody who knows a bit more about soccer than me. And they invited us over for dinner on Saturday, and it got bumped to a Sunday lunch. And so I literally wasn't home. Like, we went to church, lunch with this beautiful family, and then we had dinner with our small group or whatever. So I was literally gone all day Sunday, and then we left the next day for Ohio. I only see these membership messages pop up. No way to claim it, but I'm not allowed monetization of any kind on my YouTube due to region either. Oh, that's probably what it is. It's a regional thing. Yeah. Lono coaching a soccer team would be hilarious. I was running drills with my kids last night. I was like, all right, I want you to run back and forth for 5 minutes, and I want you to run as fast as you can. You can have 2 rests if you need them. And then we just did light jog laps for 5 minutes. Can't stop for 5 minutes. And I was like, I went with them for this part. And I was like, man, I need to get back on the bike. I was gassing. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm out of shape. But it felt good. It felt good to run. If you guys don't really have a clue what's coming, it's not about hardware this generation. They'll be boosting performance with software. Okay. Fine. Nobody in analysis right now is saying that, Sebastian. Digital Foundry's not saying that. Developers aren't saying that. Microsoft's not saying that. Microsoft freed up memory on the S because there were complaints from the devs about it. So if a third-party company is like, we're having trouble optimizing our game for that system, and what's Microsoft going to say? Oh, don't worry, we'll help, or we'll do stuff with software, throw it on the cloud? Like, every time this discussion comes up and I make that argument, people miss the forest for the trees. I'm talking about a third-party developer that has no freaking skin in the game for Microsoft's platform. They have no skin in the game. I could just imagine you going off on one of your passionate tangents, but it's Mario Soccer. They won't drop it. It's going to be cloud-based. Yeah, but that's if the third-party company wants to spend the dev time to make that work. You don't just, like, wave a magic wand and make the game run well on cloud. The moment the parity clause enters the chat, I can't trust any performance comparisons anymore. You're doing it right, Lono. How Frank Lambert became so good at runs is because his uncle and father pushed those sprints on him. Good parenting is when you enable a kid's dreams. I appreciate that, Oink Wolf. Yo, AOSZ jumping back in. I think you got it gifted last month, jumping back in and doing a tier 2. Thank you so much for doing that. Lexington Brewing has distribution up here. Looks like I'll have an extra stop on the way home. There you go. FSR wasn't in the dev kit before. Developers have access to it now. But that has nothing to do with what we're seeing right now. Everything that we're looking at from the developers and from the constraints. Listen. FSR, no matter how good FSR gets, no matter how good DLSS gets, the floor moves up. Minimum spec floor moves up. So DLSS and FSR doesn't stop that from happening. It doesn't. It's a fact of the technological innovation and the gaming industry. FSR, no matter how good it gets, I don't think it can change that reality. The lowest strength system eventually gets left behind. we're going into this generation and you already have a weak system in there. Like, that's why Sony's leaving the PS4 behind with God of War is the last cross-gen title. Now, there could be, that's first party. There could be third-party games that land on PS4 and PS5 going forward just because it was already in development and it works. Like, the assets are compatible and they don't need to be PS5 only. But let's just say there's only 3. Just 3. 3 really big next-gen titles that third-party companies are developing, and they don't feel like it's worth screwing around with the S. How's that going to make you feel? That wasn't like that wasn't an exclusive that was bought. It wasn't a time exclusive. Like, you literally just can't get it. Just a couple of titles is all it takes. And to think that, like, that just simply isn't going to happen because of FSR and, oh, they'll throw stuff on the cloud. Man, oh man, I think you're really, really optimistic. Look at the Switch, says Suede. Third party will abandon the S if it can't keep up. Right. There are plenty of third-party titles right now that skip the Switch. Or they come to the Switch way later and they have very, very poor performance. Why? It's a weak system. Like, in that generation, the Switch got skipped by some companies because they're like, our game ain't going to run on that. Every Switch cloud game so far. So there's cloud versions of about, what is that, 15 games? Switch has loads of cloud games. Right, okay. But again, that doesn't mean... Does that mean that every third-party game that skipped the Switch is now going to throw their game on cloud? Is every third-party game that came out that generation on Switch? No. Why? There were games that skipped. Why? Could have been contractual issues. Could have been performance issues. We don't know. So, not every single game made it. Like, that's the point. I think people hear my prediction, and they think what I'm saying is the Series S is going to be abandoned. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, surely, in the life cycle of these consoles, there will be companies that say it's not worth it. It's too much trouble. Companies are already saying it's a bottleneck and a challenge. Companies are skipping ray tracing on the Series S. So, it stands to reason there's going to be somebody somewhere that says ray tracing is too integral to what we're doing. It's baked into too much. We're just going to skip the S. Cloud gaming? No thanks. We don't want our game on cloud gaming. Nope. We don't want that. Microsoft will have to write a fat check for us to do that. And even then, that's going to hinder the reception of our game. It's not going to look good. It's not going to run well. It's going to have latency, all the things that come with cloud gaming. So, I'm not making some big, grand, sky is falling conspiracy theory claim. I'm like, man, I think there's going to be some titles that just skip it on by. They're like, we've done way too much with ray tracing. There's these new texture things that we've learned how to do. There's draw distance things that we want to do. And we can't mess with that. It's too much trouble. Oh, they're putting Rogue One back in theaters to promote Andor. I love how the artwork is very similar to the Rogue One artwork. Anyone buying the S isn't worried about ray tracing, but you're not, Gordo, you're not interacting with what I just said. It's not about that. Companies are skipping ray tracing on the S. There will be, I believe, a company or more, a handful that say ray tracing's very integral to what we have built. We've done far too much. We can't drop it. Dropping it out and trying to optimize without ray tracing, we don't want to do it. Ray tracing is AMD's major problem. NVIDIA's first gen was bad for frames, and the GPUs and the consoles are AMD's first gen with RTX. I can't imagine a dev saying that. That's always been my position. They will find a way to reach that market. Zubair, the Switch market saturation makes the Xbox Series S look like a matchbook. And there are companies that don't go on the Switch because they can't afford to optimize down to that level of performance. Now, there are games that made it over there that were shocking, like Doom. But the market saturation of the Switch is bonkers. And there are companies that are like, no, there's no way we're going to get our game to run over there. You freaking kidding me? No. Yo, Hessifer jumping in. Brand new membership. Keep the member train going, man. Just keep those memberships. Hit join, gift some members. Love to see it. Switch is totally different architecture, not comparable. No, I'm dealing with your argument, though. You're saying they will find a way to reach that market. They have a greater incentive to reach the Switch market. It's huge. It's bigger. It's big. It's bigger. Why do you think some of these companies are trying to get their games on Switch? Holy frick. If they sell to 2% of the market, they make a ton of money. Not putting a game on PS4 is better. Okay, I've made that argument before, so I tried to make a new argument so it would feel a little bit fresh. But yes, companies are skipping the PS4. Why? And they're like, I got to move the ball forward, man. We're trying to do stuff that won't work back there. Like, if you really look at Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, like, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart could have easily had a dumbed-down graphical version on the PS4, and it have sold like hotcakes. But they baked things into that game that wouldn't run on the PS4. Just couldn't do it. And it was like, we're just going to leave it behind. We got to move the ball forward. Now, I think they probably thought that there would be more PS5s in circulation, so the loss was probably a little bit more, like, acceptable than it turned out to be. But, like, think of it this way. In 4 years, you have to think of it in this perspective. PS5 and the Series X are going to continue to have good market saturation. They're going to get to better levels than they're at right now. And PC is really, really set to become so big and have such great growth patterns that, like, Capcom and Sony have completely changed their strategies. They're literally responding to that growth. So when you look at that funnel and you say, we're building the game, we did all this cool stuff with ray tracing, and we got 4K, and we got this upscale thing we're doing, and textures, and all this stuff. And we're going to land on PC and the PS5 and the Series X. That is a gigantic funnel. That will be a massive funnel in 4 or 5 years. And slicing off the S will be a hit, but it's not going to be like this detrimental thing. They're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're not on the S. They're going to be like, well, we did all these things and we can't get it to work over there. The time it would have taken us to optimize, and look at what happened to Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is in this discussion. Every time this discussion comes up, Cyberpunk's in this discussion. Why? Because they took a game beyond what the weakest systems in the market could do, and it really hurt that game's PR. If Cyberpunk wouldn't have landed on the old gen consoles, it wouldn't have suffered to the degree that it suffered. It probably wouldn't have gotten pulled from the Sony marketplace. You know? 420? Oh, did we hit 420 likes or 420 viewers? Hey, we need 50 more likes for 500 likes. Keep it going. What's wrong with the S? It just has performance issues. I'm seeing, you know, Digital Foundry comparisons of like old games, and I'm like, bro, it looks so bad. What's a game in 4 or 5 years going to be doing over there? So would you say that the Series S takes an L? That's what I'm getting from what you're saying. It's possible. It's possible that it's a W. that for some people will look like an L. And here's what I mean. So the Series S has been able to saturate the market at a time where other companies are struggling to get their hands on the chips and everything else. And the price point makes it, you know, very, very easy for people to buy. So that could turn out being a huge win for Microsoft because they're able to saturate the market, and it's in a depressed state right now, right? Like lots of people are having a hard time getting their consoles to market, and they're able to get them to market, and they're willing to take that on the chin in 4 or 5 years when they're like, yeah, there's going to be a handful of titles that you can't get. Let's just say it's like 3 to 5 titles. They're probably willing to take that on the chin. But I don't know if it's going to be a W when Starfield comes out. Because my prediction has been Starfield will get similar headlines that Cyberpunk got. I think Starfield's going to run like trash on the Series S. That's what I think. Based on everything we've seen, and all the graphical comparisons we've seen, and how Halo Infinite runs, just look at how Halo Infinite runs on the S. I think Starfield's going to run like trash on that system. Akuta Papa with a $5 tip. Going forward, Microsoft can't have a two-tier gaming system. One console that can do everything is what they want for the generation. Thank you for the $5 tip, Akuta Papa. And a 3-month milestone from Gale Winforce. Just want to say thanks for the show. Made work entertaining. Keep up the great content. Thank you so much. If you are new to the stream, make sure to hit subscribe. Hit the bell button so you don't miss my content. We're back. No breaks until Thanksgiving. No breaks until Thanksgiving. Right? Don't sleep till Brooklyn. No sleep till Brooklyn. We made the conscious decision to release a weaker system at a lower price, and it turned out to be a weaker system at a lower price. That's strange. As soon as Starfield's exclusive to the X, it's going to get wild. You think that's going to happen, Swade? Halo Infinite runs great on the S? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Go look at all the analysis. Halo Infinite, in order to hit 60 FPS, it runs dynamic 1080, which means it's not even staying at 1080. It has to drop into like the 540s at times. Homie, no. That's not good. Dynamic 1080? Like, I ranted about this the other day. Like, that's not good. That's not good. Halo doesn't run well on anything, to be fair. It runs fine on the Series X. What are you talking about? It runs fine on the Series X. It runs fine on PC. Look, think of it this way. Starfield's going to come out, right? Starfield is going to come out. And it's going to run great on PC. It's going to run good on the Series X. And I think it's going to run poorly on the Series S. Why? Look at Halo Infinite. My prediction is so easy to make. Look at the performance spectrum of Halo Infinite. Look at it. Try and tell me that somehow Starfield, a more graphically demanding game, isn't going to experience the exact same dadgum thing. Halo Infinite is not that graphically demanding. Are we watching the same trailers? Look at Starfield. Wait. Is it dropping for moments or running that low constantly? What? Oh, hilly. I think people are gliding over a boulder. This is a big point that people just keep gliding over. Dynamic 1080 in order to achieve 60 FPS in Halo Infinite. Stop gliding over that. That is a massive point. Halo Infinite is not that graphically demanding, and it's a first-party title. And they can't even run 1080 60. They have to run dynamic 1080 in order to maintain 60. Halo Infinite is a cross-gen game also. Yeah, Halo Infinite runs on the Xbox One X. Look at the graphical comparisons to how it runs on the Xbox One X. Seriously. This is the indictment. And I should have made this point stronger the other day. This is the indictment. Look at how Halo Infinite runs on the Xbox One X, the old gen system, and try and blame 343 and act like the game isn't optimized well. It runs great on an Xbox One X. And it barely runs better than that on the Series S. So why are you blaming 343? What in the world? It runs fine on the old gen console. Yo, Dur's upgrading to tier 2. The one article actually said it ran better on the One X. A $5 tip from East Coast Overlord. Dynamic 1080 and barely 60. What year is it? 2014? Because Dex, he listens to Digital Foundry. You know the guys that claim Sony does everything better. There it is. There it is. 1440, Digital Foundry confirmed it. No. You can run 1440, 30. If you run the one mode to get 60, it's dynamic 1080. You're cherry picking a stat. How's the One X not doing what the Series S is trying to do? I'm telling you, the article broke it down. It was like it was honestly like, yeah, it does some things better. It was like the Series X actually did certain things better. Do you want to know why? Because they were trying to do different things with draw distance and foliage on the Series S, and I think it was causing issues. They tried to add a couple extra things to be like, oh, you know, the Series S is doing this extra stuff. Yeah, and it hindered performance. That's because it doesn't have a lot of elasticity as a system. You can't push it very hard. That answers my question. Yeah, it seemed like it was very minimal things that they were trying to do on the S. Digital Foundry is huge in the PC testing space. If they say it, that's how it is. Yeah, like Digital Foundry literally reports on how a game performs. That's all they do. That's on 343, not the hardware. But I just addressed that, Hilly. If it's the dev's fault. It's the dev's fault. I await you blaming Bethesda. That'll be your argument. It's not the Series S's fault. No. Multiple devs have complained. Enough devs complained that Microsoft opened up more memory. But it's the dev's fault. It's not the hardware. Nah. Starfield's going to come out, run like just absolute chotch on the Series S. And that's what I'm going to hear. Oh, it's Bethesda's fault. Yeah. Yeah. Halo Infinite was optimized and runs perfectly well on the Xbox One X, an old gen system, but somehow 343 just couldn't figure out how to get it to run better on the Series S. It's totally their fault. Just come on, man. If Bethesda gets Starfield running better on old gen than new gen, I would blame them. I see Digital Foundry says it's dynamic 1080, but the lowest it drops is 960. Well, that's not good. I agree. You said low of 500. Okay, I may have misquoted it. 960 for Halo. It might have been Yakuza. It might have been Yakuza that was dropping to 540. Because Yakuza had to run dynamic 1080 to hit 60 as well, and I think it dropped as low as 540. I may have just flipped the numbers in my brain, so I misspoke. But, homie, it doesn't matter how low it dips. It's the fact that they have to run a dynamic 1080 to hit 60 frames per second. Oh, the 120 mode drops as low as 540. Okay, that's what it was. Thanks, Paul. So it does drop to 540, but it's on the 120 mode. I misspoke. That was my mistake. Golly, good golly. It's the dev's job to make the best version for each hardware. Series can't change the chipset. Yeah. And you know what's so correct in what you're saying, Hilly? It's the dev's job to make the best version to each hardware for each hardware set. And if they can't get the game to its best version on the S, they'll skip it. You're exactly right. They have a duty to their investors, they have a duty to their consumers, they have a duty to market accuracy to ensure that game runs as good as possible on the S. And there will be companies that agree with you and they say, no, can't do it. We've done everything we could. It's a waste of bandwidth. We don't have a duty to that platform. We don't have a duty to that ecosystem. Nope. We do not want our game in the headlines looking like that. We're back to Series S again. Well, it's a Microsoft topic, so it makes sense. It's gonna happen. I can't see it not happening. There's going to be a Jason Schreier article, The Real Reason for the Starfield Delay. Series S optimization. Bet. You think the Series S is priced well for what it can deliver? Yeah, I think it's fine. I think the price is totally fine. The entire Series generation was rushed. Many games were years in development when Microsoft pushed them to move to Series, yet the dev kits were not finalized until right before launch. Yo, what's good, Mo? What's good? Both have been out for 2 years. What games have been released on the SX and not the SS? None. It's a prediction. It's a prediction. I've gotten pretty good at making predictions based off things I see in the market. And sometimes it's just basic, it's just a hunch. I readily admit that sometimes it's just pure hunch. I said that I had a hunch and a gut feeling Forspoken would get delayed. It got delayed. I said that there was something about Hogwarts, there was something about the way they talked about it, and the fact that we didn't have a date yet. I said, I think Hogwarts is getting delayed. And it did. Right? So sometimes I go off of hunch. In this case, I'm basing it off of multiple things from industry experts, from tech analysis, and I've covered games for a decade. And I can't see a bunch of companies suddenly being like, no, it's totally fine. One of our favorite things to do is to push the ball forward and to squeeze every possible thing we can out of a game and a system. And we're not going to do that, though. We're going to make sure and be nice to the S. I just don't see it. Hogwarts Legacy delay because Sony paying them? Yo, it's good, Sven. Series S bang for buck is brilliant. You try and buy a graphics card alone, it gives that performance. Well, that's not the issue. Yeah. The issue is not economic value. The issue is it's gonna have the fastest value degradation in the market. It's not about the value right now. I predict Lono will tell us how he's good at making predictions. He's not lying, but I still want to put it out there. Well, what am I supposed to do when I take a vacation, Zubair, and I get a bunch of home runs while I'm gone? Like, I got to come back and be like, I told y'all. There's also industry analysis and leaks coming out that companies are avoiding Ragnarok, and I was told that there was no way. I was told they're not avoiding Ragnarok. I feel like too many people expect the Series S to do things it was never meant to do. It was only ever meant to be as a cheap entry point to this generation. I have not talked once today about expectations of the consumer being beyond what that thing can do. I've literally pointed to a first-party title that doesn't run that well on it. If you look at the spectrum of Halo Infinite's performance, just look at the performance of Halo Infinite. PC, Series X, Series S, and the Xbox One X as a test case. Just look at it. And then tell me that Starfield's going to run fine. No. I'm telling you, the headlines are already typed up and ready to go. Starfield performance on Series S draws sharp criticism from fans. When I saw the Iron Man Anthem story out there, I was like, he's being insufferable somewhere. Oh, I didn't see... Were people running with that story too, Zubair? We didn't get good traction. We didn't get good traction. Our VOD didn't get like a bump. I thought other people were going to pick up the story and we were going to get a bump, and it didn't happen. I was hoping that VOD would suddenly like take off like a rocket because we got there first. I think we were maybe the first channel or outlet we tried to draw that connection, and the VOD didn't even crack 1,000,000 of views. I was kind of bummed. I was hoping we would like draft off somebody. At this point, Lono is like the TV show detective who goes off hunches. He's been right so many times that his hunches are bankable. I think it's the opposite. Most consumers and parents don't get into the details like we do here. When games run poorly or aren't even compatible, it's going to upset or confuse a lot of people. Right, like that's the thing. I think Swade's nailing it. You're not going to see consumers be like, I can't believe this game runs at such and such dynamic resolution and averages 45 frames per second. No, they're going to say, it looks like crap. That's what they're going to say. Nobody talked about texture mapping and optimization and any of that when Cyberpunk ran poorly. They're like, it looks like crap. What is this? What did I pay for? That's what they're going to say. That's all. That's what they're going to say. They're not going to know why it looks bad. They're just going to know it looks bad. And that's all you have to argue both sides of that blade. Well, most consumers aren't as dialed in as we are, and they won't really notice. The other side of the blade is, it doesn't take much for consumers to be like, this looks like dookie. This looks like doo-doo. What is this? You know what I'm saying? They're going to have the same simplistic mindset of be like, what? This just doesn't run well. It looks like garbage. They're not going to know why. They're not going to get into the specifics. They're going to be like, what is this? This is Starfield. This is supposed to be the big Microsoft debut title. Big first part title. Yay! It looks bad. It's going to run... Listen, I'd take a quick break. They'll notice. They just won't know why. That's exactly the point. Listen. The next stream is going to make you glad because I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to take a chunk out of Forspoken and the marketing and the trailer. That's the next stream. But don't go anywhere. I'm going to run upstairs very, very quickly. I'm not even gonna hit ads. Don't go anywhere. Smash that like button. We only need 30 more likes to hit 500, and we need like 30 something people to upgrade to tier 2 to launch a new segment. So consider upgrading from tier 1 to tier 2. Smash that like button. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so. It helps the channel. It helps you not miss out on the content. All right, I'll be back in a second. Don't go anywhere. Excuse me. Today is National SpongeBob Day? Why? Okay, hang on. Okay. Let me get my notes up for this Forspoken thing. Because man, am I worried about this title. I am worried about this title. Even Alana Pierce did a reaction to it. Her vid's doing real well. I'm trying to get this to work. Hang on. There we go. When you plug, apparently now when you plug a PlayStation 5 controller in, it uses the speaker. It's using my speaker. Gazootime, by the way, thank you. Thank you. Let me get everything going so we can switch gears to this one. I gotta get my tweets going and stuff. Forspoken new trailer is confusing. I'm gonna need a 30 for 30 on the development of the Series S one day. I need to know what they were thinking. Yeah, it's interesting if you think about it. You know what I think, Zubair? I don't think they thought it was going to tip the market the way that it did. I don't. I think they thought the X was going to be in a better position than it is right now. I think that's part of it. Let's see. Okay, we'll send that out. All right, Discord's been pinged. There's a link in Discord. There's a link in Discord. I'm sorry, there's a link in the chat just in case the live redirect doesn't work. Forspoken trailer hit Twitter while I was out of town, and this Forspoken trailer did not get good reception. I want to break down what exactly is going on with this game, sort of retracing its history and what has happened with it, from the way that it debuted and how people talked about how it looked like a tech test, to the gameplay and our own analysis of that gameplay when we saw it, and thinking that it kind of looked a little bit maybe too grindy and too rough. And then this trailer comes out and gets absolutely dunked on and memed and made fun of. So if you enjoy these, I put everything right here at the beginning so you don't have to go searching for my thoughts. It is a longer video though because it's a live stream. I'm going to end the previous stream and bring everybody over. We covered Sony blocking Game Pass, and that was a pretty spicy stream, so be sure to check out that VOD as well if you want to see